It's pretty funny to think. I thought about that. Yeah.
Did y'all hear about the astronaut? The astronauts lost in space.
Oh well, yeah. So I kind of heard about that. I guess like
That shit is hilarious.
it is kind of funny. You chose to be there, dog. I don't know
Dude,
what to tell you. But
listen, these
you
motherfuckers.
know how many fucking waivers you probably have to sign to do. We had to sign waivers to drive go-karts the other day, bro.
Oh, dude, and
To
those
go
are
into space,
expensive.
you have to literally sign a contract that says if you die, that ain't on us. I bet.
No, not even that, Chris. You're missing the best part. So they go to space, right? They go to space, they're out, right? And these motherfuckers, bro, they're like thrusters. Their thrusters didn't work. So now they're just lost in space.
No.
How the fuck do you get lost in space?
This is what happened because my cousin, who I was just with in Chicago,
Yeah.
I'm back by the way, but he works like governmental shit, kind of job where he can't tell you what he does, but so like he's hip to all that. So what it is so SpaceX, which is Elon Musk's shit,
Is
and
gonna
then like
scoop 'em.
NASA and whatever the other fucking countries have for their organizations. Essentially, what the issue is that the docking port that they sent this ship to cannot dock to what they need to because it's a different type of docking. It's essentially they don't have the right phone charger. And so they had to send a whole nother shit up there to get them because they can't dock to this thing because of that issue.
NASA, correct, competes kind of with Elon and SpaceX, right? Like those aren't necessarily like
essentially the way to think of it is like NASA would be like Ford, and then SpaceX would be like an independent car brand.
Okay, yeah.
Essentially, like they're big, but
But see, that's the crazy part. So they're lost in space, right? So they're like, well, not lost. Everybody knows where they're at. They're trapped there in space, and their rocket is too dangerous because they don't trust the thrusters to send them back home.
And it's a SpaceX ship, right?
So no, it's a NASA ship.
Oh, it's a NASA ship, but they're trying to dock to
they're
SpaceX
getting they're
something.
getting SpaceX to scoop them in 8 months. In 8 months.
What the fuck is it gonna do for 8 months?
That's the worst fucking Uber. That's
Do
the
they
worst
even got no
Uber
food for
service
8
ever.
months?
Bro, you know how fucking...
Is they packed for a year? You
bro,
think
they don't even got 2K.
I mean, they got.
Bro,
Hey,
it's gonna be the whole next 2K by the time they come back, bro.
GTA 6 might be out.
GTA
by the
6
time
might
they
be out
come
by the
out.
time
It
they
won't
get
be.
back.
It won't be.
It's supposed to come out next year, though, ain't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
next
it won't
next
be,
year
yeah.
in fall, which we'll see if it does.
Yeah.
Look,
Listen,
video games get pushed back just like albums do, so you
Listen,
never
Birdie.
know. But
Birdie, I'm gonna tell you why that 8 months is gonna fly by. It's a dude and a chick.
oh, they're fucking. They have no.
They're fucking. They're fucking.
Hey, they about to be procreating up there.
Bro, it don't.
She gonna come back to Earth
gonna
with a
come
baby.
back. She's
with
coming back.
a baby
she's
bump.
She gonna have a baby. It'll be the first time that.
She probably got a husband and everything.
It'll be the first-
They life on the line. They
It'll
don't
be
know
the-
what's about
bro,
to happen next.
It's the first
Hey,
time
listen,
that they got to worry about if no gravity affects how pregnancy
Listen.
works, dog. I swear to God,
Dog,
that's
the
so. Bro,
OF content would be crazy.
Bro.
Listen, they could
Hey,
make so
yo.
much money if they could just record some
honestly,
shit.
that's a great
Have
idea.
space in
Dog,
the background.
think
It's
about-
Actually,
crazy.
Think
that's a
about
good
it.
question. Do you think anyone's actually fucked in space? It can't be that easy.
It has to have happened. But the question is how do you bust? Because you have to bust inside. Because if you just let zero gravity take that shit floating around,
but
that shit floating around, that
Catch
shit,
it, smack around.
you fucking,
Hey, yeah, you smack her ass. That shit waves for 10
Hey, bro.
seconds, bro. It's just like.
hey, bro, you just working on the spaceship and then the U.S. just flies, but you fucking dodge.
Hey, you bust that shit, just flow straight up slow. You push it back down. I was rubbing on her face a little bit.
Yeah. No, the good thing
Hey, you
is.
told her to eat that shit like Pac-Man.
The good, yeah. Like,
Bro, like Pac-Man with the ghost, you just got.
the good thing
Oh,
is
man.
if you just bust into the void or whatever, that shit gonna float, and you could just get in front of it with the paper towel and let it all hit the fucking end
Right,
of it.
type
Cleanup's
shit.
easy, all that, bro.
I don't know, bro.
If you got a stain on your shirt in space, bro, you clearly have you
at
fucked
that
up.
point, you can
I'm
just
caught
like grip
between-
her by the head and just toss her up there, like you know what I'm
Yo.
saying. Just have her catch it. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, look, my man Joe Yu old man Joe Yu. He said a long time ago, top in space. That's what keeps him alive, dog. Top in space.
dude, I'm fucking dying. I'm fucking dying.
That's so funny, dog.
Welcome everybody to the American K podcast. I'm your boy Chris Platte with a few, not all of my near and dear friends. I got crisp apples, fresh off a vacation, fresh off a wedding.
Yes, sir.
Fresh off,
We back, baby.
fresh off some undisclosed activities. But just know that when Chris takes a trip, there's a certain thing that's gonna happen every time.
Yeah, he gonna drink.
It's foolproof. Well, that wasn't what I was getting at. I was getting at what we was talking about earlier on Instagram. The Instagram, that shit gonna happen every time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with my guy Birdie.
If there's one thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna flirt with a bartender. That's for sure.
There you go, my man.
I'm in
Everywhere
love
we
with a
go,
bartender right now.
See?
it's tough, man.
Scorpio.
That's tough. That's tough. Listen, bro, this guy in Miami. We go on a little guys trip and we're just like, where the hell is Chris? Like, and we just look. This motherfucker been gone for 45 minutes, just at the bar. I don't even know if he has a drink in his hand. This motherfucker's just cooking. This
Yeah, I was there
motherfucker's
for a
just
minute.
cooking. We're like, all right, shit.
But you know what? The other two girls that we talked to too, I ended up striking a conversation with them at the bar with the look. I'm telling you.
That was.
I can
Yeah.
I
That's a good
can I can spark the conversation very well.
Dude.
I can do that for
Just-
sure.
This man is a conversation.
Yeah, I was talking to this bartender. She was the bartender at the wedding in Chicago. She talked about, I'm not Venezuelan, but I lived in Venezuela for 2 years. I come back, my family moved out of the city. It's like it was nuts, bro.
Damn.
But hey, shout out to Chicago, man. What a beautiful city.
Yeah.
I love it there. Honestly, if it wasn't for this pod, I'd probably be moving there right now. But we're going to do our thing. But I absolutely love Chicago. Every time I go, it's a great time. I mean, the people are great. It's because I've been in New York a lot, but Chicago got a thing about it, man.
New York is just too much. Like
New York is
Chicago,
way too
Detroit.
much.
New
Like
York's
I ain't
New
even
York's
been there yet.
it's
It's
better.
a good time.
It's
I'm not
better
saying
now
it's
that
not.
I because my brother lives there, so it's easier when you're with somebody who's lived there for a long time. Because
Yeah, that's true.
even when me and you went, Platty, he was only there for like a year or two.
That's true.
But like it's easier now with that, but it's just stressful, bro, all the
Yeah.
time. Like Chicago,
It's just go mode. all the time.
Chicago, you get the big city, but it just feels relaxed. Everyone is like, you get that Midwest hospitality. People are nice, holding doors and shit. Like it's great,
Yeah.
bro. I love that city.
Yeah,
so
dude, I held the
much.
door for somebody in New York, and that motherfucker looked at me like I was crazy.
That happened to my brother too. His like first couple of weeks there, he held the door for somebody, and they just looked at him like,
Yeah, like
"Fuck are
the
you
fuck-
doing, dog?"
Yeah, the
Like,
fuck you on.
we were raised to hold doors for people. Bro.
Anyways, I want to say too before we start the podcast, the Balkan boys are not here. You
They're
know,
back in the homeland.
Yes, they got some family situations. We love them, and they'll be back very soon.
We can give him a call later.
They'll be back very soon. So, love with the Balkan boys. Adi and Amber will be back. They are not fired. I just want to clear the air in case
We
anybody's,
were all wondering.
yeah, in case anybody's wondering. But
I was already on LinkedIn.
listen, we talked.
I was already throwing applications out there.
we talked about the astronauts. By the way, that shit was funny.
The world
So
is flat.
Meg the Stallion posted a picture. She was or a video. She was kind of snuggled up with a little something.
With a bop.
And the reason I know this motherfucker is because this motherfucker has won me 1,000,000 championships in 2K. Shout out to Torrey Craig. He is the guy that you sign at the end of your bench that just like you just throw him in for like 4 good minutes, just a great role player, and he gets you a championship every fucking time. He's the guy you sign for the minimum. Now keep in mind it's the NBA minimum, so it's still a lot of money. You sign him for the minimum. You put him on the end of your bench in 2K, and you always throw him in. All he does is play good defense, hit threes, Shout out to Torrey Craig, man.
Well,
Shout out to Torrey Craig.
as
he usually
NBA's
hits threes, but he hit like a 8.5 here. 8.5.
I don't know.
As NBA's
know?
number one insider, I just have to get your opinion. He's a good player.
Yeah, no, he's a good player.
Yeah,
He's
I
a
knew
good
that,
player.
yeah.
As you know,
Obviously, yeah.
We've talked about him a lot.
Right.
He's
me and Woj,
yeah. He's
we're like that. I got the end, dog.
I'm so out of celebrity loop. I didn't even know she wasn't dating that. Who was the dude she was dating
Party.
before?
Tory Lanez.
Party.
Yeah, no, not not Tory Lanez.
Wait,
That-
who?
You don't
wait,
know?
you said
That
Party?
ended
yeah.
bad.
How did that end? What happened?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah, Tory
Man,
What happened with Tory
Lanez.
Lanez?
Oh, shit. I don't know. She talking about she made better music, some shit.
Oh,
Shot the shit out
right.
of
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
Yeah.
No.
That type deal.
I get that. Nothing
But yeah,
malicious.
that ghostwriter dude, right? So I guess they're not a thing anymore.
Nah, remember, cause he had dropped like I don't know if it was a diss track or a response or whatever, but he had dropped that track or whatever, and now I seen like the day after he was posted up with some thick ass bitch. He was on that bitch. That was fucking
Okay.
crazy.
Which,
I was like, damn.
What's his name?
shout out
What's
to him.
the name
Party,
of him?
Party
Fontaine
Fontaine.
or some shit.
Something like
Fontaine.
that, yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
something like
Partisan,
that.
Partisan Fontaine.
Yeah.
You know, hey, shout out my old coworker Cyrus. He's the biggest barb I've ever met in the world, so he knows that whole world of everything. He talking about, yeah, Meg with Partisan Fontaine. Da 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 da. He used to date Nicki Minaj back in the day. Da-da-da. Yeah, like a whole bunch.
Damn, so that man dated Nicki and Meg.
Oh yeah.
Fuck, shout out.
Hey, look, you think that the only groupies is on is on one side? It's both sides, bro. It's the
Shout
same
out.
way.
Shout out. That is a collection.
Hey, look, numbers on the board, dog. That's all I gotta say.
I'm trying to
For
get
real.
mine.
For real.
I'm trying to get
I will.
mine,
I
I'm
will
telling
say.
you.
I will say.
You gotta
though,
start ghostwriting.
It's
Listen.
corny. It's corny though to have a to have a diss track for a female after you break up though.
I think it was a response. That's why I said diss track or response. I don't know if he said something first or Meg like took some shots at.
Yeah,
him
this
on her
diss
songs
track is
first.
crazy.
But
To a
maybe,
woman,
I
come
mean,
on.
it's not necessarily a diss track. I don't think because like it's your ex, so it's like.
Yeah. She just.
At that point, it's like a Facebook
But
post.
that's the thing that. but there's a difference between like making a breakup song and making like
It's not necessarily
a-
a breakup song, but I think it was a response.
a track that's specifically like
yeah,
response.
because Meg
I
probably
don't
got
think
her
he was
shit off.
necessarily like, yo, pussy stank. You done fucked, you
Yeah.
done fucked 5 athletes, 6 rappers. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
and you
I
got
think-
funny looking feet.
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah, I
you,
think
bitch.
I think he was just more so defending himself and the response. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
she said something first.
Okay, then in that
Which
case,
that's fair.
in
It's
that
always
case,
funny
it's
to
fine.
hear when the ghostwriters have an actual song or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
like Quentin Miller. I remember when Quentin Miller was just like another rapper or
Yeah.
whatever. But now, like when you hear his like his like reference
can't
tracks
escape
or
it.
whatever, you can't
Yeah.
get it out of your head. You know what I
You
mean?
can't escape it. You can't escape it. Yeah. So listen, and shout out to the happy new couple. Hope all is good. I don't really care. What is this?
I just put a selfie on the screen. Real
All
quick.
right. All right. The other thing I had, Big and Puff. Did
I
you
feel like
see the
that's my
video?
cycle.
That's my cycle every day.
Yeah.
I go
Yeah.
from being dope to having fun to chilling and then smiling and then I'm back
I
again.
think the chilling part is like the biggest, boldest part of the
Yeah.
picture.
Of
Yeah,
your
for you that's
personality?
about 75% of the circle.
of your
Yeah.
personality, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
For me, I'm just stuck on being dope. I just can't. I just
See,
can't change it.
I'm more on the. I'm somewhere between chilling and smiling, because, you know, I got it plastered on me.
Cause I be, that's crazy. Do y'all see the Big and Puff video? Like,
Oh, you talking about where they was talking about Big might actually be gay or whatever?
yeah, but
Like
like
he
the
had his
video.
hand around him or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen it.
Well, that as all these videos come up with Puff from back in the day, nobody thought it back then. But now, when you have the different context of it, you kind of start to see.
Well,
it.
did you see
Hell
this?
nah.
see
I haven't
some-
seen
you
this
can't
one.
tell
I
me
haven't seen
nobody-
this
Look
one.
up
Can I pull
look
it
up Puff and Big. See if you could probably find it on Twitter.
You can't tell me nobody thought that Diddy wasn't gay back then. Like just a little, like even the haircut he had was like on the borderline of what the Fruity
Listen,
Dicks was rocking.
and bro,
like them
bro,
little
look,
curl fro type shit.
We've
MBU.
talked. Everyone's brought up a lot of old Biggie lines that are mad sus, and you got to think is Puff being in the studio and be like,
That's
no,
what I'm
that
saying.
shit
Yeah,
hard, bro.
Yeah, you gotta keep that.
Yeah, watch
Yeah,
watch that.
You say you suck a daddy dick?
Hey,
oh my
Chris.
god.
Chris, I need you to watch this video and then tell me Big ain't the realest rapper ever. That motherfucker be living his raps.
Bro, searching shit on Twitter be fucking.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I don't understand. This don't even have to do with Elon. Twitter, you cannot find shit
Try-
that you
try-
fucking
try
search, bro.
YouTube.
You
Try
literally gotta
Big
type
and
in
Puff
whatever.
sus.
You gotta type in whatever the caption is
Big and Puff
of the
suspect.
video you looking for.
Bro, it's
literally.
terrible.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Like I'm gonna try. I'll explain it to you if you can't find it. But bro, it is honestly crazy because I never seen the video before.
I'll mute that.
I never seen the video before. But when I saw it, it's like my first question is like everything, is it AI? But then once I find out it's not AI, I'm like, oh my god, this looks insane. So basically, what it is?
Is it this Biggie Smalls new Puffy gay music video?
No, I don't know. Maybe, probably not. I don't know, man. I'm sorry for what I'm doing.
I don't know. I don't want to search. I'm
Yeah,
fucking
I'm
my.
sorry
I'm
for what
fucking
you
my
did.
algorithm
Okay,
up.
so basically, Puff puts his arm around Big, like so. He puts it like this, right? Like Puff puts his arm around Big,
Did
and
you
it's
send
just
it
like
to
a
me?
picture. I don't think so.
I seen that shit earlier.
It was
some.
somewhere
Yeah,
on
I
Twitter.
haven't seen this yet, and let's not spend too long on that. Actually,
we
trying to
won't.
find it,
We
but
won't. So what happened is like this my man's like put your arm around him type shit. Like it was real gangster what Puff was doing like with Big. It was real like bro. It wasn't like that. But
Yeah.
then this motherfucker Big goes
lays on his arm like
he
that.
fucking bro, he tucks his head and just goes just a quick little rub. And I'm like,
That's a little
hey
odd.
bro, when you in love, you in love.
Hey, look.
You in love, you in love. You
Love
find it?
is love. Three cheers to
Nah,
the
I just listening to
three
you.
cheers to the happy couple, dog. I don't
Hey,
know what to
listen,
say,
do you. You can't.
But
We've been questioning that bar for years,
the thing is though,
and now it's just like
it's
all right,
like especially knowing
maybe
Puff,
it makes sense.
especially knowing Puff. I mean, because you got like what people don't understand. I feel like what nobody thinks about is how young Biggie actually was.
Yeah,
How old was he when he died?
25 when he passed, I
24,
think.
25?
yeah, 24, 25.
So you
something
gotta
like
think like that whole career, he was like early 20s.
that. Yeah, he was like probably Puff probably found out what when he was like 19, 20.
Yeah, so I'm not saying that like, you know, I mean, you make your
That's
own
some
choice.
young ass.
But like even though it's like even though like, you know, typically people refer to like the term like grooming as like
Yeah.
a underage thing, but like that could still like if it's pressured on you like that, especially when this person's giving you a career, you don't know how these people where your head goes in a situation like that or whatever.
All I'm saying is most people got a handbag, Diddy bag. Diddy got a duffel bag, bro. His versatility is wild.
Check the group chat.
All right, check the group chat. Yeah.
That's on Twitter?
Check the group chat.
Listen,
Twitter group chat, right?
I'm telling you.
Check your iMessage.
Yeah. I'm telling you, bro, that shit like so you go from you got all these like model girls, like he was with J-Lo at one point, all that shit. Yes, this is it. Watch Biggie.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I'm just saying, when's the last time you did that with the bros?
Yeah, that's a little
That's cute. That's cute, bro. That's
cute. I
you
mean,
in love. You in love, man. Stop playing.
Nah, there's no reason.
I root for love.
There's no reason you should be gazed as a heterosexual man. There's no reason you should be gazing into a nigga eyes like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
they making
It definitely wasn't about that Rolex.
Listen,
I can
you
tell
know-
you what.
And you
Biggie
know
can
how
see
how
every-
Biggie's eyes are. He really had to focus.
exactly like Biggie can see.
He already got
every-
one looking at him
He can
anyway.
see every blink through them shades. Like that's how you know you looking too hard. Like you shouldn't even be that close.
Biggie's the only rapper who ever had eyes in the back of his head, dog.
I'm just saying, Biggie. Hey, Biggie, the realest rapper. That motherfucker living his raps now. I'm not questioning no bars from Biggie anymore.
Yeah, before he's like, wait, what do you say now? It's like, man, that makes sense.
All right, last thing before we get into real shit. Usher's pulling the MF Doom. Have you seen this?
Did you even say anything about it in the group chat?
No, I did because I just found this out.
Okay.
In what capacity?
Like fake ushers are performing, allegedly.
Oh, really?
Allegedly, yeah. Which, like, MF Doom, okay, you got a mask. Like, it's easy. Highway robbery.
And
But-
yeah, and with Doom, I think it was a gimmick. It wasn't like, I don't think it was like him being like, no, I don't want to perform, so I'm gonna throw somebody else up
Yeah.
there. I think he was just testing the waters on that as like a thing. But so Usher has fake ushers performing?
It's a theory. It's not confirmed. That's why I'm just putting it out there. Because they're like, Twitter, like.
The
ran with this
investigators
shit.
went in. And,
Oh, yeah, the journalists are, like, going in on it, the Twitter journalists, and they're just, like. Some people are saying yes, some people are saying no. It's fucking crazy.
I gotta see these Usher clones, see how on point he
I'm just
is.
gonna
with
go-
these.
That's what I'm saying. With no mask and dancing moves like that.
I'll take some good lighting.
that's the thing with Usher is like, you got to be able to you can't fake dancing.
Yeah, that's the part that separates him. Is like you gotta be a fucking
I ain't gonna
cold
lie,
ass dancer.
like growing up now and seeing the motherfucking like Chris Brown, like Usher, he made Usher look mid when it come to dancing. Like,
Oh yeah, no, Chris Brown's
he on
another
a whole nother
yeah, he
level.
on another level.
Unrecognizable.
They've had that whole like Chris Brown, Michael Jackson conversation. I don't care to entertain that.
and
but-
fans don't believe it's
you don't
him.
think he comparable?
Wait, that what?
I think
what,
he could.
that,
I
what
think
is
he
it?
could have been. I think he could have been. I just
I
think
don't think
things
the
went
status.
differently
I don't
for
think
him.
the status will ever be there. But when it
Yes.
comes to entertaining,
Like abilities?
yeah,
What-
he
what are we
definitely
talking
there,
about
and
here?
he
Chris
honestly,
Brown, Michael
he
Jackson.
honestly might
That's
be a
been a
little bit
debate.
above Michael Jackson when it comes to performance
Usher?
entertainment.
No,
Nah,
Chris Brown.
Oh, Chris Brown. That's hard to say.
He just couldn't.
It
He could
depends
never
on-
compete
'cause-
with the bops and the popularity.
Look, just like we talk about all the time with music, dancing can be subjective too on what you think is good dancing and what
That's true.
is or isn't. Based on that. And
No, but for real, have you seen one of Chris Brown's performances?
yeah, him doing a backflip to March Madness is one of the most legendary videos of all
Listen,
fucking time.
it's almost like he blowing these niggas out the water. Like,
Well,
and on top of the fact, he be actually singing
Although-
while he's
yeah.
while he's performing.
and all the
Dude,
Chris
he
Brown's
just
an
happens to
incredible
be like
performer.
a fucking great
Now-
basketball player. Like, dude just does everything.
Although
Regardless.
we're a big Michael Jackson respecting podcast as far as
For
his
sure.
career and legacy and how he dances and stuff.
For sure.
But you also have to think of like
we're
at,
not.
at the time that he was that was like that he was popping with that shit is like he was like one of the only people doing it like that, and it was like people it wasn't there was no history behind it. It was like this fresh thing that like nobody
Exactly.
had saw
And
people
that's why-
acting like
and-
that. So people I feel like get stuck on. It's the same way that people think like, whatever. No disrespect, but like Slick Rick is the best rapper or whatever. When it's like there's clearly people who have better lyrical ability than him, but people get stuck on the fact that was the time.
When you're a pioneer, it's hard to really put people over you.
You're
know what I
right,
mean? This, that, and the
exactly,
third.
exactly.
Like, he didn't create the moonwalk.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
pioneering, yeah.
And he created
And-
classic albums
and
like
the lean, like the forward lean that he did on stage and shit, like
Fire.
that was crazy. And there's a whole thing behind that. He had like clips in his shoes
Yeah,
and
with
shit
the nails
that he
and
like.
shit, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's great. Yeah,
It's
so
performing.
I feel what you mean is
Chris
like
Brown had the little hooks attached to his back and shit. He's flying all over the stage. Like, that's what it's supposed to
Oh,
do.
Look,
was that Miguel?
Miguel
that
did
was
that too,
Miguel.
but Chris Brown
Oh.
Ben did that.
Okay.
look, and that's it. Like and it,
Yeah, I know
look,
Miguel did
you
that,
could
and I was like, oof. That was
You
You
ever
can
seen
com-
him perform Wall to Wall? I think it was at the VMAs.
no.
Yeah, that was like
I'll look that up.
05,
you can compare
06,
it to
07
like
type shit.
you can compare it to like basketball in a way how like the stakes have risen so much
Yeah.
in the way because like who would have been a top 5 player 20 years ago probably wouldn't be right now if they were in the league,
No.
because of how the
Hell
game
no.
has changed, how it's the further along a profession goes or whatever, the more
It's just
the more
evolution.
people expect out of them and whatever.
It's literally
so,
evolution.
so that's where, yeah, like, I mean, look, Chris Brown is an incredible fucking performer. He is.
Yeah.
And look, Usher is too. There's a lot of motherfuckers. And that's why, like, I never understood the Taylor Swift shit. Is like, she can't even fucking dance. And that's half her battle right there. Not everyone has to, but she tries to, and it just don't work.
Yeah, I seen them Twitter videos where they're like, Taylor ate here, and I was like, ate what?
Ate
Ate what?
She ain't eating nothing.
She ain't even eat a fucking fully loaded nacho. Relax.
Yeah, exactly. You can't take the ones with all the stuff on them.
All right, let's jump into because we don't talk about this enough. Beef. Like it just every week.
What beef? I ain't
Every
talked
week,
about. I
every
haven't
week,
talked
new
about
shit
that.
happens. So a lot of buzz and a lot of momentum is building around a round 2 battle between Drake and Kendrick. So Drake posted the Rasheed Wallace iconic video. Shout out Rasheed Wallace. We will win game 2. I guaranteed it. That was where that started.
That means
They
a lot.
did win.
That means a lot to us as
They did win,
Detroit
yeah.
guys and whatever. Yeah.
Mhm.
They did win that game. Rasheed and the Pistons did win that next game. That was actually the Tayshaun Block game. They went on to win the championship.
Mhm.
So
Man, Pistons.
dope cultural moment from Drake. So Drake posting that on his little Finsta that he's been like taking shots at Cole and he's been doing all the all of the like other posting that he's been doing. So people are believing that there is like a gear up for a round 2. There's obviously rumors that Kendrick is going to drop fourth quarter. We've made it very clear we think Drake is going to drop fourth quarter. People are saying putting out the theory that it's going to be a same day drop, like a Kanye 50 thing. My question in all that is, number one, are you buying into the hype of a round 2? And then the more interesting question to me is if it goes round 2, where the hell does J. Cole fall in that? Because you bow out once. If this goes back again, I don't know how Cole handles it. I don't know how Cole passes again on this, considering what round 1 was. And I get it. He looks fine because it went very left. It got very personal. All of that. But I don't know if you're J. Cole, how a round 2 happens when you're also projected to drop an album this fourth quarter in the fall off.
I don't think the fall off comes fourth quarter.
That's what I'm saying. I think it moves.
I didn't really think that to begin with, because
He was definitely gearing up to drop this year.
I-
The Mike DeLee later, like that shit was
but-
shit was a precursor. He was gonna drop fourth quarter.
I
I
thought
that
about
more
this-
than anybody else.
I thought about this. I was doing something. I was like doing the dishes or something, and I started thinking about this. It's like J. Cole dropping the fall off.
I want to
like,
fold clothes for you.
because you know why I was thinking about it was because which we'll get into later or down the line. But I went back and listened to the warm up,
Yeah.
and I thought about it, and I'm like, oh shit, the warm up. Well, he had the first one. What was his very first mixtape? Was the Come Up?
They come up, yeah.
The Come Up. Then he had the Warm Up, and now we're at the end of his career, and he has the off season and then the fall off. So
yes.
that made me think back, which that's not like deep J. Cole lore necessarily,
Yeah.
but like it made me think about it. I'm like, damn, he's kind of been planning this his whole career, and it got me thinking of, do you know how much pressure must be on you for something like this? Like,
For what you believe is your final album.
it's one thing if it's like, and for somebody like J. Cole, like when
Yes.
Logic dropped his final album, which wasn't, it was like, okay, like
Yeah.
that's fine.
Cool.
But then you have the situation of like Rocky coming out. There's a lot of expectations on him, but this isn't his last album necessarily.
Yeah. Or it
But-
could be, and who knows? Like
When you have the combination of expectation for a fantastic album and it's supposed to be your last one, that's a lot of pressure, and it has to be perfect.
and you're that critical.
critically
you're that,
acclaimed.
Yes, you're that culturally important as
Yeah.
J. Cole is.
So I don't see it happening Q4 because, especially when he did Might Delete Later earlier in the year, which I don't think
I
any
think
of those.
that was a setup, though. I think those weren't records that was going to be on the fall off. I think those were records to be like to build momentum to the fall off,
but
dropping later this year.
I don't even
That's
think
how I
I don't
look at
even think it was necessary because, look, we know J. Cole, and although you said that you came back to it and you like it more now, but if we're talking momentum, that didn't do shit for momentum.
Well, It did.
I
It
think so.
was.
I
It
think- I
was.
think it
But
did
then
for the
it was
time.
immediately in 2 days. It was all taken back when.
I think
Literally
it,
2 days after he
I
drops
think
it, the
I think it
apology
was a
happens.
lot of momentum based off the diss track. Even though he did
The-
take the diss track off of there,
The
I
diss
think
track.
I think it brought so many eyes to it that people do have their favorites off there to where they
But-
come back and listen to it.
But the album itself, I mean, like
I think it was going to. It just got its momentum completely killed when the battle happened.
But this whole podcast, we're J. Cole fans anyway. We're J. Cole fans outside of all this bullshit.
Yeah.
If we really loved it, we'd be going back to it more than we do. And if it was like up to par with J. Cole's other music, that's why it doesn't seem. It feels like it was a placeholder, and also responsive to the beef that was going on at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you that I think it was a lot of like it was essentially a throwaway.
Yeah.
At the end
It
of
was
the
just
day,
a collection of throwaway records.
which is fine.
Which
you know,
they were cool.
But that's what I mean is like, and maybe if he really meant for it to build momentum, I don't think it got people talking about the diss track. But outside of that, I can't even tell you the title to one other song on there. Really, I mean, like there are other songs I liked, but it wasn't.
See,
It didn't do anything for
I
me
know
a lot of
as a
people-
Cole fan.
I
you
know a lot of people that was going back to that even
Yeah.
without the diss track.
I
on
could
the
be
song.
I could be wrong. This is just my
Yeah.
perception
No,
of
I
it.
feel you.
no,
you know?
I think,
Because I
I
really
think it
didn't-
did build momentum.
I ain't really.
Like, you
it
haven't
wasn't-
gone back to
Yeah,
it.
I didn't really go back to it, but I know a lot of people that think
Yeah.
this is like one of the best projects of this year. for
Uh-huh.
sure.
And you know, it was no promotion, and it kind of came out in the middle of a lot going on at that moment. So like, I get it, but even
think a lot of
still,
it was timing.
us being fans of Cole, you know,
That's a fair
from
point.
my perspective, I would have, if I really loved it, I would have been back to it, regardless of what was going on
That's a fair
outside
point.
of it.
I think it's like literally the same. Like they throwaway tracks, like literally the same thing that Drake got going on, like with these 100 gigs. Like there's a lot of songs that he dropping that like it ain't really shit to come back to. But it's like if you a real fan of Cole, Drake, or whoever, like you gonna pick what you like out of
Yeah.
what's presented.
And there,
So,
it wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't objectively, like, the one thing we can say out of Kendrick, Cole, and Drake is, like, there's not bad music at the end of the day. Even honestly, never mind, which I don't like. Like, I'll say it's ass, but, like, at the end of the day, it's still better than some people's best fucking work.
Yeah,
like, you know what I
Of
mean?
course,
Like,
'cause there's
fact.
a certain level of talent that comes with these three.
so no matter what, it's still not objectively bad music.
If you're going back to the question that I posed, so there's a two-part of like, do you think a round two is happening? But to me, the more interesting, which you guys can chime in on that. But again, the more interesting part of it is, if you're J. Cole, obviously there's still a lot of people looking at you funny for how things went the first time. This is like if they go at it again, and you're again on the side, I think you're just. A lot of people feel like J. Cole is forever solidified at the third spot in the big three just because of how things already went. But if you ever want to change that narrative even slightly, I feel like you have to jump in.
The way that I see it, bronze is still better than fourth place.
But
J.
nobody's
Cole-
kicking him out, even if
And
he
no one's
loses the
kicking. That's
beef.
what I'm saying. No one's kicking him out.
Yeah.
He's still third.
Yeah.
And my objective at the end, or my idea at the end of the day of this is, Cole, shut the fuck up, stay out of it, keep your head down, drop next year, don't get involved.
So you're not looking at it, so if Kendrick and Drake really re-engage, you're not looking at J. Cole as, especially when Drake was then taking shots and Kendrick was kind of baiting Cole too and being like mentioning several times in the records like, oh, Drake, you did J. Cole foul, like, so like they're like Kendrick kind of egging him on to like get involved, and then you got Drake that's like egging him on in the different way of like antagonizing him with the little like disses at J. Cole that he's made, whether it was in record or through his Finsta.
Fuck with Cole talking about a Doechii was weak as fuck.
Like there's just like, Birdie, where you at with it? Like if you're J. Cole, if you're in the council of J. Cole, we played the council of Drake when the beef was happening. Let's play the council of J. Cole. What are you telling them in this situation? Say they re-engage.
So
Drake and Kendrick
we weren't about
re-engage.
J. Cole's perspective if Drake and Kendrick get back at it, right?
Right.
Well, it's like what can you do when you playing on the fence? Like it's not like you on either side. So it's like if you jump in, who do you say something to? You're not gonna say something to Drake. You're not gonna say anything to Kendrick.
But Drake has given you ammunition to say something too.
And I mean,
Like I'm
did
with you,
Kendrick,
but
did Kendrick not too, and he
Yeah,
ended up
exactly,
apologizing
no.
for that. So I don't think he is.
both
he don't
sides
want-
gave
J-
him ammunition.
he
to
don't-
go.
he don't
J.
want-
Cole right now is he's sitting there like
That's-
the parents are fighting,
Yes,
and there's not a whole lot
and
he
he's
can
the middle
do
child.
other than other than saying stop fighting or whatever. He can't take sides because they're both, figuratively his parents.
But though, to be fair, both sides in the battle gave him reasons to jump in. So
Yeah,
he
but
can't.
they're so
He can jump in
they're
if
so
he wants.
minuscule. On top of the fact, I wouldn't even count those like anything that either of them said as disses to J. Cole. Like they could have full out blown J. Cole out the water just off the apology alone if they really wanted to. But I
I'm
know
also
they
not
know
ruling out Kendrick saying something on his album
he just might. I wouldn't be surprised if anything.
because
But
I don't think knowing the way Kendrick reacted to Big Sean with the leaks we got. Can you imagine what Cole's record directed at Kendrick did?
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick definitely hit the studio and he said some shit about Cole.
There's something in the
There's
tuck.
something in
it's-
the vault.
it's not even nothing that J. Cole even can say at this point. Like he already told Kendrick, "I'm gonna
You the
take it
greatest."
on the chin."
Yeah.
Like
And
Diddy.
you know what?
He said, "I'm gonna take it on the chin." Like
But you know
Pause.
what also gives J. Cole a lot of leeway that not a lot of other people in this situation would get is that the known fact that Schoolboy Q was the one that told him
Yeah.
to drop out
Yeah.
in this sense.
That's true.
And when it's somebody who's as acclaimed as Schoolboy Q is to say that, it'd be hard not to take that advice no matter who you are anyway.
Especially, yeah.
And
like, you know
'cause
how
you-
tight Q is with Kendrick, so you know
And,
that.
and how big Q actually is as well on top of being close with Kendrick. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like Kendrick's like homie from like back in the days. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, it's Q who has his hand in both pots. Who
Yeah.
told him, I don't know, bro.
Yeah. I think, I don't know. It's interesting. Do you guys really think, though, like, the ultimate, like, hip-hop fantasy of the Drake and Kendrick drop same week? Like, to me, that's just like too fairy tale. Like that would shatter out the water the Kanye 50 drop. Like, because there's actual animosity there. Like Kanye and 50, it was just like fake. Like it was all just
PR roll.
yeah, it was all
Yeah,
PR.
publicity.
Like these motherfuckers do not like each other. They do not like each other.
That's
Both sides.
That's what's crazy, but it's so weird because they like each other way less in the context of that, but it feels so much bigger because of the positions that they're in. Like it's so like it's crazy because it's Kanye and 50 at the time. They were
Yeah.
the biggest people out, and
It makes sense that those two went head to head for
but
the time.
but compared to these two guys, their fucking hearts are in there. Like they're
Yes.
That's the one thing everyone got from this whole beef is like, damn, they really don't fucking like each other like,
At all.
But
Both
like,
sides.
I think the difference is like when it comes to like the Ye and 50, like at most they probably was on a what 6 years in their career, 7 maybe. Like
Yeah, this
Drake been
is-
outside for like 15 years almost. Kendrick been a known name in hip hop for 15 years, so it's like obviously it's gonna be way bigger because they made way more
there's more
contribution.
time, yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. Do you think round 2 happens, or do you think it just kind of lingers because of how big it was?
I don't know if round 2 happens personally.
I don't
I
think so
don't
either.
want round 2 to happen. What I want from Drake personally, I think the way that Drake should play it from now on is you just gotta put your arm around these motherfuckers and little bro 'em for the rest of your career. What can they do? What can they say? Oh, you can talk about money. Oh, you can talk about your number one. Or you talk about this, that, and the third. But it's like, shit. If that's your strong suit, you might as well capitalize
Yeah.
on that. And what I think is he should do that for like the next 2 albums. Lil Bro, the whole hip hop game. Everybody who got a problem with you or whatever, this, that, and the third. Show him like you still the big dog, you still number one, and you can't be touched. And then when it comes to that last album, I actually had like a good idea for this. I don't think he's gonna go through with it, but I think like his last album, I don't know, obviously if his last album gonna come anytime soon or not, but I think it's time for Drake to actually find somebody to settle down with and make that last piece
The Love album.
dedicated actually
That would
somebody
be the move.
he
That would
really,
be the
really in
move
love with.
when you're known as the
And
as
then and he can
the-
like also
the man.
he can also like make an analogy to like whoever the love of his life is at that time in comparison to like the love he had for the game and all the work he put in, this, that, and the third. And I
That's
feel like that'd
brilliant.
be such a
I don't
such
know
a
how
perfect-
you always come up with these brilliant concepts for Drake, bro. He need you on his fucking
Man,
on
I'm
his
telling you, that
team,
should
bro.
be so fire.
Yeah, because that's a great idea, especially when it
Because
comes.
what
That's
made me think of
fire.
it, because like I'm thinking about like Jay last album, like it was
Yeah.
444, like, and it's like when we look at Drake career, like he act like he in love with all these bitches, but like it's always a new
You
bitch
know,
he talking about.
you know it's not.
He
yeah.
always talk about a new bitch every
Yeah.
other
Bro,
song. So
there-
it's like
every album. He's not talking about the same person on every
Yeah,
song on
so,
the
but,
album.
like,
Yeah,
if we-
dude, like literally throughout the album, it changes.
yeah, like so. But if we see, I think we actually see him actually settling
Bro,
down,
just
and
like
if we actually see him settling
Never
down
mind.
and being a
I'm not
family
gonna
man,
say it.
that would that would be crazy.
Absolutely. No, you're right.
Yeah, I think. I'll tell you this. I think that's a brilliant concept. I think you should be the head of Drake's PR team because I think that's fucking brilliant.
That should
But
be fire.
ultimately,
Clip that. It's like, nah.
yeah, no, you should absolutely because I think that's a brilliant idea. I don't think round 2 happens, and I think it's just because there was just so much that happened round 1. I think what Drake can do. My question is this: is if Drake does what you're saying, where he's like, "Lil Bro's everybody." Again, the narrative is already anti-Drake, so the Lil Broing could come off like, "Oh, really? Like we just had a whole battle where he was questioning your cultural contribution, and then you're just gonna say we don't matter."
Yeah, but you
Like,
you know, I mean,
You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying everybody will take it like that, but it's a slippery slope where if he doesn't execute that Lil Bro right, like then the people that were even on the fence are gonna be like, wait a minute, like hold on.
But that's the thing though is like, I don't feel like
And also the numbers that Drake has
But
been putting up haven't been.
don't you think
Drake
Jay did
numbers.
the same thing though? Like literally, he got killed by Nas, and literally on Blueprint too. Like all he doing is like
To be
talking
fair,
about
I
he the
don't-
fucking greatest. Like
To be fair, I don't really remember
yo,
Blueprint 2 like that.
Blueprint too. Oh my
No,
god, so
but-
fucking fire,
oh that was great.
so fucking fire.
But
It is fire, but
But
I'll
yeah,
show you
I
Show
don't.
You Hows will really make me think
Look.
of shit like that. Like Drake needs a song like that.
We went through round 1, and I don't think at this point that whatever they do from this point forward, if there is a round 2, because that doesn't. If you look at the beefs, pretty much, it's very rare for there to be a full like round 2 of it. They're not persuading anyone on either side.
yeah,
There's
no, it's
people,
Democrats
people,
and
people,
Republicans.
people
bro.
either took
You're
their
not
si-
changing.
People either took their sides or they
flipping.
stayed center and they say this is Drake, this is Kendrick. I'm fans of both of them, and that's it. You're not convincing anyone on either side. You had one chance to do that, and you did it, and that's all it is. Like,
Dude,
you know what I mean?
I tweet anything positive Drake, and I get hate. I get hate from like people. Like you can check my Twitter interactions. I get people, and my man's shout out to Chad. My man's like not only tweet at me, but then text me on the side. Why the fuck you talking about Drake right now? I'm like, bro, come on, dog. Like it's not that. It literally got Democrats and Republicans.
political.
Yeah, it divided, and that's why like round 2. Is it possible? Yeah, but I honestly don't want it to happen because like as fun as it was talking about it, I mean, look, we were all geeked when it was going on and shit, but it took away from the music, and that's what we're here for.
I just think the fans just make that shit so fucking irritating, bro. Like the timeline be going insane when these two is being
it
mentioned.
just be
Like,
stupid.
and then like the takes these motherfuckers be having be so fucking irritating. Like
Yeah,
it be
bro.
so biased and like it don't even be thought out sometimes. It's just I love Kendrick. I'm a tweet from this perspective. I love Drake. I'm a tweet from that perspective. I got so many accounts muted
Dog,
from
you got
both sides of the
yeah,
field.
no,
Like
you
I
got-
can't
you got
I can't
lit-
read this shit all
you
day.
got
dog.
literally-
Yeah, 'cause
like,
you
you
got
got
you got you
accounts-
got bad Kendrick accounts. You got bad Drake accounts.
Kendrick fans, and I said this, and nobody fucking listens to me. Is that I'm not saying you guys, but like I just get frustrated about this because like I've been saying for years, way before this battle, that Kendrick is obviously an artist that I hold in high regard. But I will never allow myself to be connected with that fan base because that fan base is so fucking pretentious.
Right.
So pretentious. And then like
It's
and then like you
it's a
had
constant joke about like, oh, but he said this and that. Literally, Kendrick came out one day and was like, I didn't even know that's what I meant by that.
yeah.
About like picking apart lyrics and shit, bro. It's not that. It's like that. Those are the two sides of it. It's like the Kendrick fans are so bad with that shit. Of like,
yeah.
What'd you guys think of Drake? Speaking of, so like he dropped Circadian Rhythm officially on streaming services as we're recording this, but he dropped more photos and like videos in the 100 gigs, and he dropped a Nothing Was the Same era collaboration that Kendrick was supposed to be on that later became an Action Bronson song. Chris, I think you can.
oh, it was the fucking dude. It was
some drive or
opportunity be knocking. You gotta let a motherfucker in.
I don't know. I just know the name of the song when I see it.
What the fuck is? It was off Mr. Wonderful, because it was the same. It was that era.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. Do you fuck with Action Bronson like
I
that,
fuck
Birdie?
with Andrew. I'll never like go and listen to him, but like
Mr.
he
Wonderful-
fire for sure.
Mr.
Like,
Wonderful-
Wonderful is a hard album.
Is the one that had like
his voice kind of just a little too fat for me. I don't know what's be going on.
I feel you. though.
Because he's now like in better shape than all of us. That motherfucker's a beast. Have you seen him?
Nah, I ain't seen him in a minute.
I know what you're
Oh, yeah,
talking,
no, that
but
motherfucker's-
I know the beat you're talking about. It was because I
It
just
was
saw
like
this video.
Drive or
No,
something
it
like that.
was shit. Hold up.
But anyways, so he did that, and then he also posted a video
Acting
of him,
Crazy. That's the name of the song by Action Bronson.
Acting Crazy.
Yeah.
So then he also posted a video of like him talking to like YG and Mustard or like not talking to them but like talking about referencing the record that he did, the Who Do You Love, with them. So he was strategic and those kind of facts. Listen, I love this. Like anybody that's hating on these Drake videos is just a hater. Like, because you're telling me if your favorite artist dropped behind the scenes footage, you wouldn't go crazy?
Oh God. And another thing I be hating is when people be like, oh, "You should have saved all these videos for documentary." Like, bro,
I think these are the B-sides.
If you don't think,
I think
that
these are the Lucy's.
if you
They don't matter.
Exactly. Like, if you don't think he ain't got like 1,000, like, I don't think people remember it, but like literally, like the first year he came out, he dropped a documentary for his first year. Like, Better Than Good Enough was an MTV documentary. Like, that was for 1 year.
Look at
2 years,
the
maybe,
look at
I
the
don't know.
Kanye doc that dropped last year. Was it last year or 2 years ago on Netflix? That shit was dope as fuck.
Oh,
that was
yeah,
20
yeah.
that was 20
Dude.
years later. Bro,
And look,
Kanye had a whole camera crew following him
From
the
college,
entire
from
time.
before
Drake has
college,
done that.
from before college dropout.
Literally.
He was like, no, this one day is worth. That's where you've got to give Kanye credit for his fucking genius. Is that he knew
And
that
Drake did the same thing.
he knew.
Watch.
Well, Drake. But the difference with Drake though is that he was in
That
the,
shit with The Weeknd was hilarious.
But-
You
Oh,
see
where
that?
he ignored him the whole
Yeah,
time.
bro, he dumped everybody else in that room.
But the,
Hey,
the
bro.
difference with Drake is that
Hey, Birdie, bro, he was
Bro.
like, "What's up, my man? How you been? How you doing, bro?" He was dapping up everybody, and then he was just like, it was just like The Weeknd. It was just like,
well, Drake. But when Drake was
That shit
doing
was-
it, not to like discredit because it was still smart to do,
That shit was
but
hilarious.
it was more common for people to have a camera following them around. Kanye was doing that shit in 2002.
yeah,
Like they had to drag fucking tapes with them and shit to record
Literally.
or whatever. You know, like they weren't recording on the SD cards at that point. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like crazy to see
yeah,
that.
bro. It's fucking, yeah. This shit is dope, man. I honestly, I'm enjoying I'm enjoying him dropping this stuff, but honestly, again, I'm assuming it's all B-side content, and that like there is like the Drake mega documentary that's coming one day, and it's gonna be one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. But
I think it's gonna be in theaters.
I think it should be.
If it's
not, it should
like
be.
how Michael Jackson, This Is It was.
Oh, there's a lot of. I mean, back in the day, back when like YouTube wasn't available, which I could tell you about more after this podcast. But like bands, like classic rock bands and shit, they used to drop concerts in theater. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because that was the only way for some people to see them. They'd sell hella tickets. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
They need to keep doing that low key. I don't know why they don't.
I know.
No, it's fine. It's so sick.
I'm excited for the Drake doc. That's all I'm saying. And I just hope that what we're getting right now is like cutting room floor, and it does feel like it is. So I'm okay with it. If it is in the Drake documentary and you're just dropping it because it's a good PR move to do, then Drake, I would say personally, just wait, man. We love you. We're excited. We're excited to see what your documentary is going to be. Don't ruin the documentary. Just save it.
I like what you're doing right now because it gives me like the vibes. Like, I don't know, it holds such a stigma. Like when you see certain videos, like the video where they say Kendrick's supposed to be on this song, or the video where he did the Who Do You Love verse for YG. Like, you kind of get the stigma to where it's like, it kind of feel like a lot of motherfuckers in the game is kind of ungrateful. You know what I'm saying? Like, Drake then brought you so much in a sense to where, like, you should be grateful that he did do what he did for you, because there's so many people that want to work with him and don't get a chance to where, like, I think everybody should just be grateful for what they at least got from Drake, even if they couldn't get more. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
That's what these videos kind of show, in my opinion.
We're back. We decided to make some changes. We threw my man on mic. You know, it is what it is. We switched it up a little.
The conversation was getting too heavy for me to not be here.
We grace everybody's present, but that's enough, Drake. Let's get into what actually is happening, like in real music world, and that is the new music that dropped this week. So we got, just to kind of outline it, because I'll let everybody start wherever we want to start. But we got albums from Big Sean, Doechii. I gave the Strick album a spin. Coffee Black dropped his album. Shout out.
Oh, why nobody told me that? I would listen, my man.
Shout out Coffee Black.
Shout out Coffee Black, the No Faking album. Destroy Lonely dropped an album, and then you got singles from Chance, Tommy Richmond, ASAP Rocky, Game, Ransom, Dave East. Listen, let's start with the albums before we get to singles, because I know singles are going to be quick. We're just going to kind of gloss over those. I feel like we should just start with Big Sean, because that's the biggest commercial release of the week. Big Sean, Better You Than Me.
Man.
Where's everybody feeling? How's everybody feeling about it?
I want you to go first.
All right, Birdie. Let's hear it.
I feel like it was pretty mild. I think Big Sean personal records right now carry him more than anything, because him trying to make a hit, that should be real cringeworthy. Like, I don't never want to hear Big Sean on the track talking about some hey, like, I don't want to hear that shit no more.
You don't think
like,
that's a bang? I think that's like a.
It was okay.
I think that shit.
It was
okay,
okay, but I think On Up
heat.
I think On Up clears the song.
I like that song better. But
On Up is hard too.
On
Yeah.
Up is so cold. Like, those are the type of songs I want from Big Sean at this point. I don't
you
think
just want that healing shit.
And if he is trying to make like a hit banger, bro, like, flex, bro. Like, I feel like he don't do enough flexing. Like you one of the ones. Like, you. I don't want to say a pioneer to our generation, but like,
he did it that whole press run.
It's crazy because he's.
But what about the album though? That's what the album is what
we
matters.
Talk about the album. We gotta talk about the album.
We've talked about that on this pod before of like reaching a point of success where you can, like, that's all you can. That's like where you're and like Sean is at that point of success. Like, he's obviously okay. Does he have as much money as Drake? Maybe not, but he has enough money to where you don't need any more money.
Yeah.
You're at a point where you could do whatever you want.
Sold 150 million records.
He got the money. He got the hits. He got. I'll say he has at least one classic album. What do you think? Maybe, maybe not.
Honestly,
Will Hall of Fame
I
or
don't
Dark
think.
Sky
Dude,
be
dude,
one of them?
they're
I don't
all
think he
like
does.
border.
You don't think so?
I think
I
he.
don't
I
think
think
he
you know,
does. I think he
I
has
think
an
he has
excellent
mul-
discography.
he
I
has
don't think he has
multiple-
classics.
He has a good discography. of
multiple
music,
borderline
and
classics.
his
Yeah.
lineup is crazy. Like we talking about Ariana Grande. We talking about Janae Aiko, the one crazy bitch you made.
That's
that
not the
I don't fuck
lineup
with
I
you.
was going
Listen,
for.
Yeah.
listen, man. Like you winning, bro.
Rest
like
in
that's what
peace.
you gotta talk about. You gotta talk about how you won, how you big dog now. Like, and if you ain't gonna do that, then like I said, the personal songs to where like you actually like dive deep into your thinking and your perspective on life and things you might be going through type shit. I love those songs by Big Sean. I
Yeah.
think those are some of the most fire songs.
I think that's what most people go to him for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like when he be trying to make the hit records, it always come off kind of corny, dog. And like
See-
he always had like the corny stigma. You know, people used to say he was corny
Yeah.
or whatever. But I think the super duper flow back then used to save him like a lot. The super duper flow was.
But now you can't.
Crazy.
You can't really do
But
that.
he don't do it
anymore.
no more. He
Well,
don't
you
do it no
can't.
more.
You can't really do it anymore because it's not gonna hold up the way it did back
Mhm.
then.
No, that's a fact.
Mhm.
Like, bro, like Bedrock is like a very good example of like the idea of what the super duper flow is. And that song, and even though he wasn't on that song, but that's like what that flow was is you say something in reference to something and then you silence yourself and then you just say what it is directly that you're referencing. And you couldn't make that now. Like you could,
Yeah.
nobody would fuck with, like it wouldn't work anymore. But honestly, like I thought that, like I like Big Sean. I like where he's at as far as the bangers and shit.
Yeah.
Especially one thing I really love about this album, the beat selection was fucking crazy.
Dude,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
fucking
beat select-
production.
the
I
production
think it's
on the
his
whole-
best.
One thing about Big Sean, his production has always been top tier.
Yes.
Like, cause I mean, like if you go back from like Dark Sky Paradise, I decided it was a very cohesive album. It was produced very well. Like I'd say Detroit 2 has very good production, but it wasn't as. It was more. He was kind of like halfway between the mixtape of Detroit 1 and having it be a full length studio
Yeah.
album. Where like this one
was
I mean, front to back, it felt like there was not one song that felt out of place, bro. Like it
Yeah.
felt like it was all supposed to be how it
Yeah.
was. It was. I really fucking enjoyed it, bro.
I'll. So here's where I'm at with it. First of all, I said this last week, and people didn't believe me. There's a reason Big Sean dropped this album right now. And there's evidence to back it up. He dropped this album August 30th, when August 31st is the deadline for Grammy submission. We all know that tomorrow we are not getting an album from Kendrick.
Or Drake.
Therefore, but For All the Dogs is still in the cycle of the
Oh,
Grammys.
yeah, okay.
So
Yeah, yeah.
Drake will still be there. So another reason why Drake wasn't going to drop in the summer, regardless of the beef, he wasn't going to drop 2 albums to compete with each other in the Grammy cycle.
No.
So Big Sean avoided Kendrick, and smartly so, because you spent your whole press run having to deal with the Kendrick Lamar conversation piece. Even if you didn't want to deal with it, you had to deal with it because of not only what you said, but just how important that was culturally.
Which,
So-
as much as we all love Big Sean on this podcast, it's like I'm happy he wasn't really that involved in the whole thing.
Yeah.
Partially, kind
Shout out to
of.
Charlamagne for keeping it a buck with him and being like, I don't know if you could take him. Like, that motherfucker said that straight to his face.
But like, unfortunately, like that's true. Like,
But
again,
it's real.
Again, there's people who are good at what they do, and
Yeah.
Sean is good at
It's
what,
good at
he,
what
does.
he does. And I'll say this. I say all this to say, again, I came into this with expectations. I said this last podcast. I expect a Big Sean album to be a album of the year contender for me.
Mm-hmm.
That is my floor for a Big Sean release. I'm here to say that this album was in the basement. It's not bad. I'm not hating on it. But I don't think there's a single where I put this in Sean's discography when it's all said and done is probably middle of the pack. I think the production is the best Big Sean has ever put out. I think the songwriting is where Big Sean lacked in this album. I think he said a lot, but he didn't say anything at the same time. I think a lot of it was very much air. It was very much
trying to get back out there.
It was very much filler, and I think that, and I don't like saying the word filler.
I don't think
because
it was
Big
filler.
Big Sean is clearly, everything felt heartfelt. Don't get me wrong, but it felt like this is all he had to say, and if this is all you had to say, Big Sean, I think you're incredible, but I expect you to say more because there's records on here though, like Boundaries. Boundaries is my shit. Boundaries, he talked that shit on that record. I think that is one of the best records of the year.
And in my opinion, I think it started really strong too.
It did. But what Big Sean did on Boundaries, a lot of your favorite rappers can't touch that. When Sean gets in that bag of introspection, there is very few people that can get into that bag as well as Big Sean did. Yeah. So I think again, this is a very good project. It is still outside album of the year contention. But I look at this collection of songs and I just feel underwhelmed. I think the singles were some of the best records that we got on the album. I think outside of Boundaries, I don't really think I'd add, and the Charlie Wilson record, I don't think I'd add any of the records that I heard today over any of the records that we got before the album.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And that's what I like. I used my choice of word in the way I did because I ain't want to, like, mid to me is just like, this shit damn near doo-doo. But, like, when I say, like, mild.
It's not mid per se.
It's not mid, but it's mild. It's like, it's not none that's the best from the artist that we listening to.
Yeah, and you know what it is? And it's the crazy thing because we've talked about the same idea when it comes to Kanye, when it comes to a lot of these artists, is that, and especially like knowing you, who like you've been, you're probably the biggest Sean fan that I know, and we're all Sean fans, like whatever. There's a lot of people who aren't, but like you're probably the biggest one I know, and I think it's also, which like, it happens with a lot of people. It happens with Kanye. It happens with Kendrick. It happens with a lot of these people, is that your expectation is so high to where you're disappointed at something that
grows at a higher rate than the artist grows.
Right. And then you get stuck not satisfied with something that would be the best body of work of somebody else, which I'm not saying that's wrong, but I'm saying that's like,
which we're going to get into in tomorrow's pod. But.
Right. But like, you know, like say, I don't know, let's grab somebody from like maybe like a tier below, like I mean, not to say tier wise, but like a Denzel Curry or a JID or something like that, you know, that like still very high up there, but a tier below. This would be in my opinion, this would be a good album for them as well.
This would compete with a lot of Denzel and JID's catalog. This would be in conversation as the best project.
And so that's like the hard thing is like, how do you separate your expectation of somebody who's provided so much over time to say that it's still good, but at the end of the day, like because I get it, I see where you're coming from. Of like, it's not his best work, but at the end of the day was like, maybe I'm in the minority. I don't know what the Balkan boys are thinking, but
I know Amr gonna love this shit.
I enjoyed it front to back. Like there was not one moment of it that I was like, this isn't good. Now, do I think that he's done better in the past? For sure.
That's
for sure. But it's like, at what point do we does the expectation change? Because and the Kanye conversation is different, right? Because Kanye is at the legend state. He's even in a different bracket than
then Sean. Yeah, he reached a different
in a
high.
in a sense than all of the big three, because he's on his own plateau of who Kanye is and what he's done and the music that he's done and all that shit. So that conversation is kind of separate from this, but at what point can you separate your expectation of these artists, whether it's Drake or whoever, I think, from what they actually provide, which is still good, but it's just not meeting it for you?
I think I can summarize it best, in that this is what I thought of and how I approached it. Is this project reminded us who Big Sean was, but didn't change who Big Sean was. Yeah. Like, our perception of when I look at a Big Sean project, this one particularly, it reminded a lot of people that forgot, oh, Big Sean is a great artist.
He's that guy.
But it didn't change our perspective of it. It didn't go, you know what? We just had the whole year of the beef. We just had everybody questioning J. Cole, like we talked about earlier, more than they ever have before. J. Cole's third place has never been more in question than it is now. This is the time for a guy like a Sean, a Tyler, a whoever of that generation to knock on that door and be like, no, actually, J. Cole, you are not third. You are back here. Right. This record didn't do that. What it did was it reminded us, oh, Big Sean is one of the greatest artists in hip-hop right now currently, which is a good thing.
But he didn't break that threshold.
But he didn't elevate. He didn't elevate with this project, and that's where I'm at. Like, he did new flows, he did new styles, but he kept a lot of his Sean-isms that he does, where he raps very, again, the way Sean raps.
Which isn't a bad thing. At the end of the day, that's something to respect, is that there's a lot of people you could say sound like somebody else or rap like somebody else, but
you can't say Big Sean.
Sean is unapologetically himself.
One-on-one.
And what I will say too, that again, not necessarily contest, but on the same note, is like, there's a lot of artists that we really like, that we know don't say shit, that they don't say anything, they don't break ground on anything. But the difference with Sean is that we do want that out of him.
Yeah,
you know,
because he delivers it. Like, again, Boundaries is like, listen, man, if you're, you don't even have to be a person that's going through shit. You just have to be a person that's open to the experience of life. If you hear Boundaries, the way that record talks, that shit gonna get you. I promise. I promise you, if you listen with open ears, that Boundary record is gonna get you.
I think before you move on,
okay, go ahead.
But I think another reason Big Sean is held like such a higher expectation, other than the fact that like he right there with the big three, is that like when you take off time, like you ain't dropped the album since September 2020. So once you take off so much time, like within that time,
and then between that you had time between that other project.
I feel like you should be at least making. You should at least made at least 5 to 10 songs that make us look at you like, oh, like this is the guy still.
Do a feature,
you know what I'm saying, or something. But it wasn't really no music on there like that really made me change my perspective on Sean that I already ain't have.
Yeah, in my opinion, it kept me liking Sean the same way that I did before.
Exactly.
It didn't move that needle. But you know what I'll say about this project that I did like. This is my last point I had on it was, I thought it was, I really enjoyed him collaborating with artists that like I didn't expect. Like, I didn't have a Big Sean Kodak record on my bingo card.
For sure.
I didn't have him dropping a Cash Cobain record. I didn't have him dropping with Proof Son. Like,
Gunna
which
too.
was
I
dope.
gotta talk
Yeah,
about that
which
before we
was
get off.
dope. But
Cook real quick.
like where I'm at with Sean is like, I kind of want to see him like do that more. Like I kind of want to see him with a Yeet.
Because he's not a feature artist. He doesn't fucking do features almost ever.
He doesn't,
dude.
but I want to see him collaborate with those like non-traditional artists. Like I don't want to see another Sean and Kanye record. I want to see another Sean and Travis record.
Because we've seen it.
Because we've seen it, we know what it is.
Been
But
there,
you know
done
what?
that.
Big Sean reminded me of. He is still, again, he's so unique that I want to see what he does with these other artists. Like I would love to see what he does with Yeet. I don't know if I'd fucking like that song, but I'd love to just throw that shit in a lab and see what comes out of it.
Yeah, so sometimes you gotta throw ingredients in a pot and see if it tastes good at the end of the day. Like that's
I want
it,
to like the Kodak and the that was so refreshing to me that I'm like, okay, like if I'm Big Sean, whether
that was
it's
an
your
interesting.
album,
It was a crazy beat.
Yeah.
Like it was so. That's what I think he experimented with his sound a lot
on this album.
As
He did,
far as
because
what
like I said, he did a lot of
traditionally
different
would do.
flows, a lot of shit.
There was a lot of unexpected twists and turns. But one thing I wanted to say that I said in the group chat earlier, obviously, you know, we have our group chat for the podcast and all that, you know.
Shout out.
Shout out the Rap Cave group chat. But it was, so I had brought this up a couple,
Keep tossing that open there.
I'd say like a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago on the pod or whatever. Saw a freestyle from this guy named Nassan. And I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. And it kind of sounded a little Detroit, whatever. So after a little investigative journalism, turns out he is Proof's son. And for anyone who's not from Detroit, because everyone in Detroit knows who Proof is, if you're not from Detroit, he was essentially Eminem's best friend who passed away, like, I don't know what year.
That was we were young, but young-ish. I think it was
in the 2000s.
Yeah, it was around current call time.
I think it was a year before Toy Soldier dropped.
It was
before. Because that was about him. So
it was before.
So no, like Toy Soldiers dropped. That was Encore.
That was
2005, 2004.
Wait, Like Toy Soldier was about him? I thought he passed after Like Toy Soldier.
Oh,
I thought it. Yeah, no.
Oh,
I think it was Recovery. It was Recovery era. So it was like 08 he passed, and then he dropped Recovery.
It's hard to say because.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up.
I got it. I got the. I'm still the producer, regardless if I'm on mic or not, or on camera.
When did Proof die?
2006.
2006. Yeah. So no, that was way before Recovery.
So it was a year
Yeah.
after.
Wow.
So it was after. It was after like Toy
after
Soldier.
Toy Soldier.
Yeah, because I think Encore was 2004, 2005.
And then the next one was Relapse, right?
Relapse. So maybe it was.
So he just chose not to address it because I know he had the record on Recovery addressing it.
Maybe it was something in Relapse that I'm just not thinking of at the moment that he addressed it.
I don't think he did.
But anyway, like it's a very well-known fact that he was essentially Eminem's best friend, also a rapper. He was definitely not as big as Eminem, but he was pretty popular around Detroit at the time, and everyone in Detroit knows who he is. So Sean has this song with Proof's son, and he just had a Rap Radar freestyle
month or two ago.
Probably a month or two ago, which actually was it was a great freestyle. He performed very well. It was very Detroit oriented, and like the production value of it was so cool. Like he had like all these props coming in and people on the sides who were bringing certain things into the frame, and like he's a very artistic guy. And so it was really cool for me to see Sean, who's like, you know, essentially the most popular rapper from Detroit, but separate from what you would consider to be a Detroit rapper. But either way, pay homage to Proof, who's like a Detroit legend and that sort of thing. And it was really cool to see that. And as soon as I saw the name, I was like, oh shit, like this is fucking sweet that he's doing this. Because he's the only Detroit artist that I think he featured on the whole album. He didn't bring, although he
didn't bring Tron.
He didn't bring Baby Tron, although he just did the song with him with M.
Yeah.
But he didn't bring Baby Tron on the album. I mean,
yeah, it's interesting.
I don't know. There's only a few Detroit artists that I could really see like collabing with Sean and it turning out.
Yeah, like he has collaborated with a lot, but it's been on their songs rather than his. So
Yeah,
I don't like the way Big Sean crafts music. I don't know how many Detroit rappers fit into that.
And that's what I mean. It depends on who. Like I couldn't see, although he's like
he can fit on a Detroit beat,
Yeah.
but when it comes to his album,
it's
I don't know, a Big Sean and Skilla collab would be insane.
There's certain people, or like I mean, I could see Sean and Babyface Ray, like you know what I mean, like
yeah,
there's certain
they have that
people,
one song,
but
that
like
shit is so,
even though you can consider it Flint, but it's still of the same ilk or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't see Sean like be a Beat a Pac-Man, like that.
Yeah.
That I don't think that would
make sense. Yeah,
but like yeah, maybe that. I mean, maybe like V's. I don't know. Like you know, there's certain people it could work with, but
I don't know, shit, like, cause I mean, Drago was on the cipher, and I mean, Drago fit that cipher very perfectly, and he don't even really rap how he did on the cipher, but he made a good adjustment to it. So I'm pretty sure anybody will make a good adjustment to it.
But I think that's the thing though. That's what makes it so hard to find the person, like the people from Detroit, that'll match his style well, is because no matter what, on one side or the other, somebody's got to make an adjustment to kind of fit the mode that they're in, whether it's Sean's song or their
But
song.
I liked how Drago did it because it was like,
yeah, that was on Detroit too,
it was
right?
like the most mature Drago I ever heard in my entire life, and
Yeah,
it was fire. Like he never rapped like that ever again, like on the track. Like I never heard a track after that where he actually rapped how he did on there, and it was amazing to see him actually jump in that bag. Like no cap, I never expected that, and it's crazy because like my first 5 times hearing that cipher, I'm looking at the features. I'm like, when the fuck did Drago even rap on this song? Like I'll keep listening to him like.
Yeah, you almost didn't recognize it. You didn't recognize him. Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Okay, he just came different. So I think
it's cool that Sean could challenge them to like hop in a completely like different bag. Cause like, bro, if you look at that Eminem song, which like honestly I wasn't even crazy about, the one on Eminem's album that had Sean and Babytron, like
Toby, yeah.
As much as like Babytron's a shit, but it was so out of his bag, and he did not adapt that well to it.
Yeah, he didn't really adjust how he was supposed to on there, and I don't see him.
Who Tron?
Because I couldn't really pick.
Tron.
I can't really picture that with Drago neither, but he was able to do it. But
I feel like Tron
maybe
was him.
Tron is like he just so punch heavy and just a real shit talker. I don't really see him being able to do stuff.
I had my boy from the West Coast tell me today. He said, "Hey, I know it's Big Sean Day, but Baby Tron better." I was like.
Well, but
you know
but the difference
that's a real conversation in the city. So.
But you gotta think of environment too. Also, is like that cipher was like built for Detroit artists. Where like when Eminem brought Tron onto that song, it was some corny ass Eminem strings ass beat. Like it wasn't it wasn't built for that. Like there's certain people like you want to build. You can bring people into your world, but you also want to kind of build it catered towards that person in a sense, in one way or the other.
Yeah, that's the whole point of a collaboration. Is I think you'd fit well here.
Yeah, exactly. So,
listen, man. Shout out to Big Sean. I think it's an incredible album. I really do. I think it's a very good album. I don't want anything I said to be taken as you know, we live in the world where it's either trash or it's fire.
But I think we all liked it. Yes. We want to see Sean fly as high as he
especially the way
can.
he was talking in those interviews where he was like, yeah, I could have been in the big 3, but I wasn't as consistent. And I do feel like there is some truth to that. But this project didn't back that claim.
But and also
because if you're gonna make that claim, this project has to be one of your best projects ever.
And I don't really think I don't think consistency is that big of a deal.
I think it was for him.
But
for
as
him
far as a listener, because you mentioned that a minute ago about consistency with him, he's been I mean, I get it. The level and the audience is different at this point, but like he wasn't really any less consistent than Kendrick has been, or even Cole has been, really, because he had.
Yeah, but
2020 was 2020 was Detroit too, so he had a 4-year gap.
Right.
And then before that he was doing the 2088 shit, and he had the album with Metro Boomin. So it's like, really, this is the only gap that it was, and it was a smaller gap than other people
But
have taken.
again, you're comparing somebody that dropped Good Kid to Pimp Butterfly, Damn, back to back. Like all three of those albums, like washed. So
Well, that's why I'm not trying to compare them to each
there's-
other, but I'm saying as far as consistency.
But if he wants to box in that class, and he's gonna go away for that long, that's what you have to bet.
yeah, and
Because Drake and Cole were more consistently dropping.
I guess that's true. Like if you imagine it as like a glass that's filling up, but it's slowly emptying. It's like Sean's, because of where he is tier wise and they are tier wise, his glass empties quicker than theirs does.
Exactly.
Which I get, but he also had
Because if
he
Sean
had more consistency. Now, granted, like the Double or Nothing with Metro Boomin, not a great album, like whatever. But like he at least was consistent for a while, and this was the longest gap he had. I mean, it really was it 2000. It was I think less than 4 years.
4 years. It'll be 4 years next month.
Is it next month that
was it 2020 or 2021?
2020, September 2020.
September 2020.
I think I knew it was September. I just didn't know if it was
It's
2020 or 2021.
Good pull though.
I think consistency nowadays is the most important. I think it's the most important, only because like think about how many artists that you liked maybe in like 2017 that you don't even listen to no more. Like I'm pretty sure there's a handful, if not a dozen.
There's a lot of artists I see their name pop up and I'm like, damn, I've like seen them in concert and I haven't even thought about that.
Yeah, I've checked out. Yeah.
I think and the way music flowing, this, that, and the third, being consistent during the streaming era is vital. And I think keeping yourself on the scene and keeping your music playlisted is how you become unforgettable. Like Drake has always been outside. You know what I'm saying? So like
or even just culturally like relevant.
He doesn't have to worry about it like that.
Drake has always been outside. Ye always been outside. Yeah. So like these are the type of artists to where like there's no like if you erase them and all their content, there's a black hole in the heart of hip hop.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? 'Cause they put in so much work. As to a post where like I don't want to say Big Sean, but I want to say
no. But like keep on the analogy of Big Sean. Like let's
say like Wale. Like if Wale, if we
that's a good example because that's like the same era too.
If we deleted him and all of his music, I don't think that would really affect the game
where we're at right now.
And there's a couple big artists. I don't want to really get on that because I don't want like think I'm hating or nothing like that. But like there's even bigger artists that like even Drake that got into it with or fucking that's just like one hit wonders within the streaming era to where like that's just how you see the evidence of where consistency really shows like
or like
you need it. If you don't have it, you won't last and you won't be on the scene. Noticed on the scene as much as.
If you want to talk about like the big like the one hit wonders who didn't stay consistent in the streaming era, like think about like back like 2016, 2017, like Lil Skies.
Yeah.
Didn't stay consistent. YBN Namir did not stay consistent, and it clearly showed. Look, YBN Namir is a good example. Look at Cordae. Cordae fucking ended up, staying consistent, and although he's not everybody's favorite, but he's relevant. Like and it's
too vital in the streaming era.
But then also, which I've talked about this before, whether it's on air or off air before too, is that the balance is also important because you can run into the issue of where, like a good example for me, which we don't really talk about on this pod, but like I think I don't know if I'm gonna say what you're expecting, but Suicide Boys, who's
that wasn't what I was
who right now is actually at the height of their career, and I'm not like a fan of them per se. Shout out Victor. Like Victor's a huge fan of them.
Yeah, they be on some hard shit.
And a lot of they're at the height of their career. They're doing arenas at this point. Like they're huge, but like they're almost too consistent to where the music gets lost.
Yeah, like oversaturated.
you can oversat. So there you have to like find a balance right now of like oversaturation and not saturating yourself enough out there. Like being if you're dropping a project every 8 fucking months, nobody's gonna remember what that last project was because and it also doesn't give you time to perfect that or whatever. So there is a fine line.
NBA YoungBoy.
Yeah, exactly. Like people like that. And so I think there's a fine line that needs to be drawn that I think everyone's still trying to figure out of do you stay overly consistent, not consistent enough? Do you somehow find a middle ground? And I think like right now
it's
like,
a quantity quality thing. Like you have to meet that threshold of both.
I think 2 years should be the max. At 1 year, I don't think we should do multiple projects in 1 year unless it wasn't one of them was a side project at the end of the day because
like I might delete later.
Yeah, because that will get lost. Like
Yes.
shit will get lost at the end of the day. There's too much music out there. There's too much shit to see, bro. I can't remember some
Life
of the
is
shit we
too
listened to
forgettable.
4 weeks ago
Yeah.
in preparation for the pod. Like it's so hard
It
to
is.
keep up with everybody and everything coming out.
Listen, man.
I think, like nowadays, I think the smartest move is to go hard in the first few years, and then
Dial it back.
Once you build
not
it
dial
up, yeah.
back, but figure out how to keep yourself on the scene and notice. Like this, I think this is where like you gotta have a strong PR team. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like figure out how to keep yourself on the scene, whether it's music or social media or
Fashion.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, anything like that.
Just staying culturally relevant.
Fashion is a way that a lot of people divert to because a lot of hip hop is so centric around fashion. You know what I mean? That like a lot of people divert there, and that keeps them. Because if you look at a lot of the artists that are like really big, like all right, Playboi Carti, like he's the least out on the street rapper in the fucking world. Yet his relevancy. Now he's gained like a cult following, so that's kind of one thing. But
Cardi kind of different. I think his mystique has built his image so much to where like
and that
people are always wondering like what's going on with him or when's he dropping this, that, and the third. So,
and
like,
you notice
it's kind of like the same how it was. I feel like for Kendrick too. Like he kind of got like this mysterious.
No, his
business
the fact
ain't
that,
out there. Yeah,
the fact that he didn't do features
That's
the 5 years he went away.
That's a PR.
The fact that
Smart
he didn't do the fact that it's meticulous that Kendrick didn't do any features between Damn and Mr. Morale. So that whole 5 years, not only are you just like not getting the Kendrick album, you're not hearing a word from him. You're not hearing a
I think
in defense, like Cardi's the same way because Cardi for a long time he was just nowhere to be found. Before Whole Lotta Red came out, he was nowhere to be found.
That can do that.
He really just started another feature run, which he hasn't done really in a long time. Like he hasn't been out, but like his following is still there. Like I think that Yeat's a really good example of staying consistent but not overly consistent.
Yeah, but not oversaturated.
I don't know, that motherfucker dropped like 3 albums in 1 year though. I ain't gonna lie, that is like.
But that's what you're saying. That was more the beginning of his career.
But he did that and he got it out the way, and now look at his release.
Because now the past couple of years, it's been like one big drop per year.
Yeah.
But when he first started, just like you're saying, is like when he
2093
first started, he was out the
so
gate.
gassed up as like a release. Like
exactly.
Like it was so looked at.
And last year
there was
he
so
had
much
his
hype
shit.
to it.
I think it's just a lot of pros and cons to that little mysterious
You have to
look type shit.
Yeah, you have to.
It's like
you have to be worth that.
You could. I feel like when you do stuff like that, you could be easily like your career could. I don't want to say easily forgettable, but like
it can be.
If
yeah.
we
no, it can be.
If I'm saying like if we erase the discography of like some of these mysterious artists, like I don't think there would be like an effect on the game, because like when it comes to music ties to a lot of memories. Like when you if I sing
time and place.
Like if I sing like I go on and on, can't understand how it lasts so long. You'd have thought about 30 different memories at once, because Drake has been outside so much to where like you hear these songs.
Yeah, that's a too short lyric. That's a too short lyric. But
I mean, that's fine. But you know who we're gonna associate that with in 2024?
well,
No,
we,
well,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
but they're a different generation.
But that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
we don't tie that in with Too Short because we ain't never been at a party where we played that Too Short song. And it's been
Right.
banging.
But
Okay,
that
yeah.
Drake song was playing everywhere, and
And that Drake song's playing everywhere.
It's
And-
also me and Platte have that too. Although we disagree on our views of the album, like More Life is one of my favorite Drake albums, and Platte doesn't like it so much. But me and you can both tie that to it came out as soon as we were in Toronto, essentially. And so we can tie that to that time. Even though you're not a huge fan of the album, but Passion
Yeah.
Fruit, obviously, I always tie to us being in Toronto at that time.
I'll tie something else, but I'm not
And-
gonna get myself jammed
but,
up.
Well, we all can tie it to something else,
Right.
but
but
overall,
I lost my train of thought. I was about to say something too. And
That's
it was
all
such a good point.
my
I-
bad.
You good? Yeah,
I
go
think
ahead.
this is a good conversation. I wanna
This could be a whole
move back to. I want to move back to. No, this was a great conversation, but I want to move back to the other new music that dropped.
Oh yeah,
because
I forgot we was talking about new music.
That's on me.
see what I'm saying.
My bad.
So
I ain't used to being on camera.
listen, no, I love that. That conversation right there has so many gems in it, and
That's a
so
great.
many
That's a
layers
great.
to it.
Great conversation.
But can we get to the best album of the week?
I know. I know it.
Can we get to the best album of the week? Can we,
I got
we
to
talk-
know Durad.
Can we talk about this motherfucking
Birdie. Did you listen to it?
that was smooth. Can we get to the motherfucking album of the week? Doechii. Alligator. Oh, sorry, fucked it up. Alligator bites never heal. I had expectations that Big Sean was going to have album of the year.
Mhm.
I never would have in a million years thought that the week he dropped, he wouldn't have the best album. But here we are.
I mean, fucking incredible.
Like when I've been saying this for years, and I don't like to be that guy of I'm right, but check the tapes. Check the tapes. Whether it's been this podcast, whether it's been the wave that I did, shout out Imperial. I have been saying for years, this girl Doechii is a superstar loading. Not a star, a superstar loading. This project is a fucking warm-up. And it is amazing.
Incredible.
I don't think the world is ready for what Doechii is about to do. In 2025 or 2026, whenever it takes her to drop her album, because you know them TD artists, they move different.
Mm-hmm.
Her next album is going to be elite. Is going to be a generational album. And I'm not talking in hyperbole. I am talking in fact.
She's actually fucking. She is insane.
Dude.
All right, this is what I've been thinking all day after listening to that album is that. So, what Doja Cat does so well is she can rap extremely well,
Right.
and she can also do pop extremely well.
Yes.
Right. If you cut the pop out, take the rap and amplify it by fucking 10, that's what you get out of Doechii, dude. It was
Doechii's a
actually
rap star.
mean,
Yes.
it was raw, it was nasty. It gave me fucking I got that that stank face with it, bro. Beat selection, just level of rapping was
Dude,
fucking it was incredible.
The versatility was insane because you have records where she's sounding like ODB. You have records where she has the dense rhyme schemes of No Name, which is one of the most elite lyricists, and I love No Name, even though she hates white people. But No Name is incredible. She has that level of density to her raps. Then she has the simplicity of Rhapsody, where Rhapsody raps very well, but it's very direct.
Mm-hmm.
She has the uniqueness of Doja. She has Kendrick's eccentricness. She has literally the coolness of Drake. She has everything. The versatility that she has, I can't remember a male or female artist in recent years that matches that.
And
You can look
and
at
you throw all
every-
those fucking things in a pot, and then
And guess what that
and
is?
the plate ends up being a cohesive album like that. I mean, front to back, all fits together. Nothing sounds out of place. It all sounds like where it's supposed to be. It was intentional. It was to the point that she was trying to like. It was. I was extremely impressed.
Again, this is just a gear up. So here's some industry shit too. So she had a couple records that bubbled.
Mhm. Yeah.
So Doechii is a name that okay, like rap, like hip hop Twitter, yeah, they circle it because she signed to TDE, so we're gonna support everything TDE. But beyond that, she reached beyond that scope when she had records like Crazy. She had records like It Is What It Is. She had bops. She had that record with JT.
Mm-hmm.
She
And,
had records that did commercially well.
There's one Super Duper something or whatever that got some spins too that I've talked to other people about too.
So
a couple of things.
She's done those records, but guess what happened? None of those records are on this album. Nothing. None of the records. She could have played all the industry games and loaded these up and had some monster first week sales. But what that tells you is that she is a different artist. That the way she operates is different than everybody else. You got these records that could run up your streams. You're trying to build your name, right? So you would attach all these records, Crazy, all these fucking records, Crazy. It Is What It Is. The JT record, all of those records you could attach to this project, and this project would have a much better first week sales than it will have.
But do you honestly believe she has the ability to obtain superstar status?
I think she is a cross of Kendrick and SZA.
Because we're not getting a pop girl here. We're getting this is like what it felt like. I mean, although we were too young to experience it, but when Lil Kim hit the fucking street,
yes,
a real fucking dog shit, dog dumb donkey dick spitter, dog. That's what it is.
Right.
I'm
with you. I don't know what you meant.
I don't know how to explain it, dog. But
that was
dog,
the craziest explanation.
Dog, she just
I'm riding with it. I'm riding with it because I know.
Bro, she's the only female who could lay a dick on the table, bro. It's crazy. She just
She has moments where she's Eminem. She has moments where she's Drake. She her versatility can't be matched, and that's why I know she's going to put it together, because she has elements of every single great rapper we've ever heard of the last 30 years.
When you think of all the biggest female artists, what's one thing that they all have in common?
They sell sex.
They sell sex,
and she doesn't.
And she doesn't.
So that's why I think.
But
we don't want to hear her. We don't want to hear female rap lyrics being in comparison to an Eminem or a Drake. Well, I'm not gonna say we. I'm more as of the culture, but sex sells, and I think for her to reach that superstardom, she gonna have to be a little bit more provocative on that level.
Which I get, I think she's the opportunity to. Yes. I think she is the opportunity to break that mold.
Change that. Yes, I think. Okay, so look, we have these conversations. I'm not trying to take it there. Mm-hmm. It's not trying to be that deep, but we have those conversations about Kendrick, where Kendrick is if you look at his career in a vacuum. If you're telling me this person does all of these things and reaches this much commercial success, critical acclaim, all of that, you're like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that a rapper that has a lot of underground and cautious elements gets that much commercial success while also maintaining a pure cultural standpoint. Mm-hmm. She, I think, is going to be that for female artists, because I think you have the cultural purists of the Rhapsodies. You have the pop stars of Nicki Minaj and Doja. Mm-hmm. She occupies all those lanes effortlessly. I think she's gonna be that one unique lightning in a bottle that works. That it doesn't. We don't have a precedent for it. We don't have an understanding of what it's going to do, but it will do that. Like, we didn't have that with Kendrick. You can't compare Kendrick's career to a certain artist. You can't.
And
you
even
can
though-
you can mention the Lupes, but that doesn't work. You can mention the Eminems. You can mention whoever you want to throw Kendrick with. All of these elements that he has little bits of that he took and then he made his own.
But it's not quite that.
Doechii is that for the females. She is not. She is gonna be the one artist to. I agree with what you said. What you said is not wrong. Hip hop traditionally, when it comes to women, sex sells, appeal sells.
That was the first thing I
She-
said to you when I walked in here before you were here. That was
Yeah.
the first thing I said.
She is going to be that woman that bucks that trend. That does that. You're still gonna listen to Meg. You're still gonna listen to Sexy Red. You're still going to listen to all these other women. Cardi B, whenever she drops, God willing, she drops an album. You're going to listen to those girls. But you're also going to listen to Doechii.
And she made it
Because she's weird. She's different.
she made it very clear what she's here for. She made it very clear what
Very
her
clear.
intention is. She made it very crystal fucking clear exactly who she is. And not to mention is that exactly her position in stardom, in hip hop in general, is where TDE always
Thrives.
shines.
Thrives.
Is the one who's different than what's selling right now, but they find a way to
SZA
sell
wasn't
it.
supposed to be SZA.
I mean, even SZA fits even more of a mold. Although she's like,
But
She's
SZA wasn't.
different.
R&B
But
pop,
SZA
though.
was.
So
she's
it's harder
different.
for her. It's harder for her to excel.
You listen.
I mean,
you
it's
listen,
easier for her
you
to
listen to,
excel.
no.
she's
You
different
listen
for
to
a
Z.
pop artist, but yeah, she's an R&B. She's a
You
pop
listen to
artist.
Z.
She's
She was an R&B alternative.
But listen,
and
like,
now
Si-
she's a megastar.
Like SZA sings about like
now
toxic,
she's competing with Taylor Swift.
She sings about like toxic relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like
Subject
her
matter, yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like this is shit that females won't listen to. Females don't want to listen to a bitch that can actually rap. Let's keep it a bean.
That's what I mean.
And
though.
females be
She's gonna buck that
predominant
trend,
in the
though.
female artist fan base.
Is that what? But that's where I think Doechii is gonna break this mold of guys not feeling like comfortable listening to women actually like bar up, like you know what I mean? Like that's why I love Doechii.
No, I know-
I
so
don't
much.
think.
But
I don't
you're-
think.
you're talking
I don't
about the
think,
girls.
I don't think
Yes.
guys don't necessarily is uncomfortable hearing the
That was
female.
so funny because
What?
I know what you was about to say and then you changed it to guys. That was funny.
No, but I was about to say I don't think guys got a problem listening to females bar up, but it's just like it's almost.
I know what
like
you mean about the girls.
we it's
for sure.
we kind of like when we kind of like don't. I don't want to word this like too bad, but it's like
No,
as a
all
guy, we
bullshit
kind of
aside,
don't
take it.
No,
not
listen,
taking
though,
it
like as a
seriously.
guy, you know what I'm saying. Like we don't really like
You don't take it
have that
seriously.
respect for females to be
But-
talking a certain
but
way. You know what I'm
that-
saying?
that
You
is-
know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
don't want to.
yeah.
I don't want to say
it's
it like
not, no. That's no disrespect. That's not in a bad way. That's literally just like wiring of how it works.
yeah,
but
no,
like,
that's exactly what it is.
but
Yeah.
that's what I think that
I think
is
she's
the
gonna
one
break it.
who could break that mold, who could take that shit outside of whatever, like, you know, norms of music that you expect to have or that that everyone abides by or whatever. Because, like, bro, honestly, it's not. Let's put gender aside, whatever. It's some of the best rapping I've heard all year.
Oh, that's
Like,
factual. But
on
let me
top- fuck,
bring.
fuck who she is and if she's a woman or a man. Like,
Yeah.
best rapping.
I agree with that, but let me bring gender back into it
Good.
because there's a lot of bitches that bump Sexy Red that they not about that shit at all.
that's a fact.
Yeah.
At all.
But
They
Sexy Red,
like
Well,
they're
we're
not
also,
they're
we're
not
also not about a lot of the shit that we listen to.
they're
either.
not they're not trying to. No, I don't know about y'all, but I'd be pop. No, I'm playing. I'm
You
playing.
ain't future, dog.
Yeah, no. But what I mean by that is there's a lot of girls that are fucking you know talking that Sexy Red records where it's like where she's saying all that wild shit and those girls want to like that, but they're not about that. I have a lot of friends. They're not about Sexy Red.
You have a lot of friends.
They're singing Sexy Red.
See, the only
They're
thing
singing Sexy Red.
only thing-
But they're not feeling Sexy Red. What they're gonna identify with is the girl like Doja that's unapologetically herself. That's what this whole album comes across.
Doechii?
She's Doechii. What did I say? Doja?
Doja.
Oh, my bad.
They are
Doechii.
very close. They're close.
Doechii.
The name is close. Yeah.
Yes, Doechii. She's unapologetically herself, and then what happens with that is that she also makes reference, like she has records where she goes at the end of the song, she goes, "Oh, and also, yeah, no, I do like to do drugs and get fucked. Like that's cool."
Yeah, that was
Like
that was a whole. There's one song on there
Yes.
that she basically like she played to like this whole like, you know, oh, I'm supposed to be this like da 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 persona. And she's like,
Yeah.
no, I do like to get fucked up. And where I will, I mean, agree, but
And that's what a lot of girls are. Is they want to be themselves. They want to be themselves, and then they also want to indulge in some fun.
I just think that she's
And I think that's where Doja's gonna really shine.
Doechii.
Doechii. Damn it! Why do I keep doing that?
They're
My bad. I'm mixing up goats. Shout out Doja.
The
Doja's
names
unbelievable,
are
too.
close. I get it, but that's what I'm saying is I see where you're coming from absolutely, and that's why it's not agree to disagree. It's agree and agree, but it's it's like what the difference is that I think she's gonna break the mold of because like I said, perfect example is Lil' Kim.
Yeah.
Is when she came out, no, like men weren't listening to female artists like that or female rappers per se or whatever. And Lil' Kim broke that mold. And since then, I feel like it's kind of retracted when you have your Meg Thee Stallions and shit because they're saying shit that we can't relate to. I'm not twerking on a wall. Like, not that that's all Meg talks about. But like, you know what I mean? It's just like, I'm not relating to the sexual side of the female artists that are out right now, where Doechii is
And a lot of
just
girls are acting
flat
like
out,
they relate, but they don't.
but Doechii's just flat out barring up, and I think what she's going to do is break the mold of how men approach women who rap. That's what I hope for it. That's what I see happening because if not her, then who else? Like if it's not her, nobody else can break that mold because she is as raw as hip hop actually fucking gets.
And
dog.
again, look at what TDE has a history of. They have a history of developing artists.
Mhm.
Like
She on TDE.
there's so much.
Yeah,
Yes.
she signed a TDE, and that's what I mean, and that's what we were
So
saying.
that's why like the Kendrick and SZA like comps are like kind of lazy just because like TDE, but they actually are there. Like if you look at a lot of what like SZA's like boastfulness, Kendrick's eccentricness,
Exactly.
they do she does share that DNA. Like she literally has a record where she sounds like Kendrick and then she says bitch don't kill my vibe. She says get top
on the phone
Like
and all
she's
that
like
shit. So she's
so
clearly
she-
like
she
a
is
fan.
aware.
She's a student of the game.
aware.
She's a fan of Kendrick, and like we had said, is like this is exactly what TDE
I'm telling you
thrives.
it's gonna be
is
a couple
artists
years.
like this. Schoolboy Q, for who he is, as much as I love him and as brilliant of a rapper as he is, without TDE, he would not have reached nearly the success that he has.
He might have been John Connor.
Yeah, because Top and Punch know
I
how
love
to
John
market
Connor.
these
Shout out
people
John Connor.
correctly. It's not a sense of marketing. They're not necessarily appealing to the mainstream. They know how to read somebody and say, "We know how to market you to appeal to what you're supposed to appeal to." And that's why TDE is such a great label at the end of the day. And that's what makes them so powerful is because every artist they have, damn near, I mean, they've had a couple misses at the end of the day, but most of the artists on TDE all have some sort of a cult following in one way or another.
Yes.
Whether it's all a black hippie, then you have Isaiah Rashad. You have SZA, who has blown everything out of the fucking water.
Yes.
You have your misses. You have your like Ransom maybe didn't
Reason.
Reason. I'm sorry. Reason didn't necessarily meet the standard that maybe they were expecting, and he left.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm not saying that he did because of that, but I'm just saying is like TDE. If there's one thing they're fucking good at, it's taking somebody who isn't cut out to be that popular person and figure out a way to maximize the potential. Exactly.
I agree.
But the thing with me about TDE is like they really do only got like 2 prominent names, don't they? And that's SZA and Kendrick, right?
Well, Kendrick isn't in there anymore.
But how many?
I mean, you still
but
associate
listen,
with TDE?
Yeah, of course. But
I would say. Let me flip it for you. Because I agree with where you're gonna go. Because I know where you're gonna go.
I know what you mean.
But sticking with Kendrick and SZA, how many labels have a top 2 that can equate to that star power? There's very few.
And the fact that
keep in mind the other artists that they have have
strictly
developed.
I'm about to say let's keep it strictly rap then if that's the case, because
it's hard because
it's hard to compare SZA. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. SZA R&B artist, so it's easy for her to.
I would even just say she's straight up pop now.
You think? Yeah. So I mean, it'd be hard to compare that, but when it comes to strictly rap, I find it being very hard to market somebody that don't have the sex appeal as a top female artist, and when we all know that's what we look for in a top female artist. So I mean, will she break the threshold? She might not. I think her album was a good album for sure. I think she need to work on the choruses for sure. I don't want to hear her on no more songs talking about some ha 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 ha. Like nah, like that's not really it for me.
I could say her hooks aren't.
Yeah,
her hooks weren't a strong part of the album.
Those can develop. Yeah, absolutely.
But the verses was hidden. But
that's why I'm saying I feel like this record was gearing up. I hear this record, and as much as I love this record, I don't think this album.
This isn't going to be at the top of her discography.
And I think there's reason to believe that because she didn't stack her crazy singles on here that were already bubbling. Mm-hmm. Like she didn't. This wasn't a hodgepodge.
There was one.
There was intentional.
She had the one that came out pretty recently.
Exactly.
That was the one single that made it onto the album.
I think 2 or 3. She had Boom Bap, and then she had Nissan Altima.
Nissan Altima was the one I heard. I didn't hear
Boom Bap dropped before. Last week.
But Boom Bap was essentially an interlude at the end of the day, which is interesting. But I know what you mean. But what TDE has done at the end of the day is market these people, whether it's in pop, whether it's in whatever. Yes. They've taken underdogs and marketed them through the fucking roof and made them look. I mean,
Q is not supposed to be as popular as he is.
Or another good example is Isaiah Rashad. Although
Rashad is not supposed to be as popular
much as I love him and I think he's fantastic and I think he's a very high on my list of people of rappers in general. But Isaiah Rashad could have easily fallen into the shadows if it wasn't for TDE at the end of the day.
Yeah. I think if you have any machine behind you, you can easily stay relevant.
And the difference with TDE, too, is that although they might have a deal with a major at the end of the day, TDE as a whole, but whatever deal they have, they're essentially... They operate as an independent label, which is the difference. Because you could say, okay, yeah, Atlantic has... whatever, Beyonce, whoever it is, I don't know. I'm not quite sure of everyone's label, but you could say, Warner Brothers, but that's different. TDE is like a grassroots label. Even if they have a deal with somebody, it's still they kind of they operated the same way that Mac Miller did. When he signed to Warner Brothers told him, they said, you know what you're doing clearly. Keep doing what you're doing. We just want you to be part of us.
Or even if they didn't, they're doing a good job presenting it that way. That it's still grassroots.
Yeah, and even if they didn't, that's even better.
It's fabricated in a believable way.
I just don't know.
That's-
I just don't know off the top of my head if they
Yeah.
still are independent or not.
Who, TD? No,
Yeah.
TD's been through Interscope. Yeah.
Yeah, or
so,
through
yeah.
Interscope.
I
That's it.
I don't know. I just think it's not a smart move to put your money on a label where I feel like they don't have that much superstardom to depend on them to create a superstar.
Well,
They've created two
created
of the
Ken-
biggest
they
superstars
created
of
Kendrick and
the
SZA.
last decade.
and
I mean, they're two of, but I mean, there's a lot of labels that got plenty more.
but that's
but again,
that's small of a label.
Going back to our conversation of how many top twos are competing with that top two, like QC,
Like
That's
QC
exactly. I was gonna say QC. QC
QC
really.
got
QC
some-
produced a lot
Shit,
a lot of great artists, but
Why-
did they like
when you
understand,
think QC,
understand
you
SZA,
really only
you
think
understand
Migos.
SZA is beating Taylor Swift.
That's cool. That's fine. I mean,
No, that's
like I
not
said, she's
cool.
a-
That's
she's-
like
she's
nobody
a R&B
beats Taylor Swift.
She's an R&B artist though, so like I expect her to be on that level. When I'm talking about strictly
No,
rap.
but-
Like talking about like being
No,
a
but it's-
superstar at strictly rap is way harder than being a pop star. That's why that's why when you look at the conversation that was between the Kendrick and Drake beef, it was always pointed, he's a superstar. This is why he's doing these numbers, this, that, and the third. So like when you say that, like it don't hold as much weight as opposed to Kendrick, who is doing massive numbers, just speaking lyrics, not necessarily through his melodies.
No,
and shit like that.
I'm not disagreeing that it's harder to make a superstar out of rap than it is out of pop.
But I
But-
think that's what boils
But
down
but,
to.
but
Also,
what it boils down to is them knowing that like, hey, SZA, like when you hear her first TDE project, get that motherfucker out of here, cuz.
but
out of here. Tell your friends, bitch.
no,
But-
it goes back to the same thing because it's Kendrick. Like the way that he's made music, he has never been a pop guy.
Right.
He's never, but
But SZA's first project is Z. You do not see a pop star in that. She is very much that whole project. What that gives off is, oh, she is great. She is a great feature artist for a rapper that needs a hook. That is all she
Right.
was. That is
at first, that's
all-
literally how
that
she
is
how
all
the
she was
operation
looked
went.
at.
Yeah.
So to take that and then develop it into a pop star that's competing with Taylor Swift, again, I get it. The rap star, pop star, those are two different things. But to take that and get it to there,
And-
point A to point B, that's all we're looking at when it comes to Kendrick, when it comes to SZA, when it comes to any label, any artist. You're looking at this point that they start at when they're there, and the point that they arrive at, and that speaks to artist development. And when you have that trend of two of the biggest artists of the last decade, there is reason to believe that a artist like Doechii can then, I said it right that time, can then reach a higher level because there is a history of them developing artists. Not saying she will. I think she will. But
hope
that's
she
not
will.
saying it's a guarantee. Nothing in life is a guarantee. But there's precedence there. And that's what I'm saying.
And
That's all I'm saying.
you are right in that it's obviously like when it comes to SZA, I mean, at the end of the day, it was a home run. Like you can't really question it because although like starting with Z, like because I discovered SZA
through Z.
by featuring on the
Chance.
Chance feature,
Yeah.
Babylon or
I
whatever.
found her through
Or
the
not
Kendrick.
Babylon.
The Kendrick is a Babylon. Warm Winds.
Yeah. So I remember finding her back then. I didn't know that I'd still be talking about her 10 years later or whatever, but it is a lot easier to market. But then when you look at the rappers that they put up, such as Kendrick, such as Schoolboy, I mean, you could make the argument for Ab-Soul, but J-Rock he's a fucking hood legend at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
You got fucking Isaiah Rashad. You have
Who
these
has his world,
you
yeah.
have these people who have gained massive success off of what TDE offered them and how they marketed these people. And so that's why I can see the success time and time again. And this is the thing that they've never been posed with is the woman who can rap as well as the guys do and have to market that. They marketed the woman pop star SZA, and it worked. It was bound to work because of who SZA is, because of how good she is, and how much easier it is to market pop music at the end of the day. But I see TDE as the best case scenario for an artist like Doechii.
Yes, absolutely.
To be marketed in the way that she needs to be marketed. You know, like
absolutely.
That's my stance.
Yeah. Close it with this.
I think I don't know. I see a lot of labels having at least 2 or 3 of the biggest stars of our generation. I mean, shit, we look at YSL, shit, Gunna and Lil Baby is undeniably 2 of the biggest rappers right now. So it's like,
absolutely,
all it takes is that machine to get behind you to make you something. It's just, what are you in comparison to what you are? So if you are a female rapper and a strong suit of a female rapper is sex appeal, shit, at this point, I think, Doechii, you gonna have to fuck the whole TDE. You know what I'm saying? Like, on some scissor shit. Like, that's just you gonna have to do, and that's how they gonna have to push you and make sure you is what they think you might be. You know what I'm saying? So, listen, hey, that's what I think is gonna have to happen. You know what I'm saying?
They're all too old now to even be like. Everyone got
You're not too old.
Not too old to slang that motherfucker. You know what
I know, but they're all too old to where that's the code that needs that, bro. Like, Doechii's the.
I don't know.
Like,
Kendrick just had a whole album talking about he a sex addict. So.
Oh yeah, so he ain't doing it no more. But I'm saying like,
I don't think he off it yet.
Or old habits die hard.
Whitney was in the video. God damn it! Like,
she was. That means everything is good.
I think that. What I liked about I think Doechii's just it's a breath of fresh air. I think it shows that whatever, you know, because of how the rap industry is, of how people can have judgments about women who rap and all that shit. I think Doechii brings a breath of fresh air in that sense of being like, nah, she can fucking hang. She can hang with the big dogs. She can. We'll see, and we'll see. I can't wait until a year or 2 from now, and we can sit back and see where it's gone and revisit
you know
this
TDE,
topic.
She might her album might be 5 years from now, but I promise you, when her next album goes, it's gonna go.
I think I agree too. And I never heard your actual take. So you said
good.
She needs some works on the hook. Or she needs some work on the hooks, which is fine. But do you see part of what we're talking about here?
I see the rapping ability being there, like, amazing rapper. Like, that's just undeniable. Like, I actually sat there and I listened to most of the album. I didn't get through the last 4 songs.
I remember it because you were like,
because I left to come here, but
well, no, but it was funny in the group chat that you were like, okay, so I gotta listen to this. And Platte was like, yeah, you gotta listen to this, doc. Like, you know what I mean?
I made a sports reference for you.
I listened to it though. She a great rapper. Definitely just some shit. I feel like she got tweaked, and if she want to be a superstar, I think it's definitely gonna be some changes she gonna have to make to be that superstar. And I don't think it's gonna be necessarily strictly through rap, more image than anything, because that's usually how I go for females. But
especially being that weird and off kilter.
Yeah, if she do, hey, shit, kudos to her. Hey, I love to see a female on top. Literally, so hey,
literally and figuratively.
Honestly, that's just such a great view.
Great view.
I can't.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's a beautiful.
And you don't gotta put a lot of effort in. Oh, please sign me up.
No, I genuinely can't.
It's trash though when they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, a little bit of whining and grinding, you might.
I feel
it's trash though when they don't know what they're doing. It's just like, all right, I'm just saving energy.
Right.
I'm just saving energy.
I'm excited to see where Doechii's career goes, and if it's any consolation, the funny thing to me is that, which makes this stand out also, is that same person I was talking about earlier, the one Barb that I know in my life, who hates every female artist because Nicki has beef with every female artist, damn near.
Don't worry, the Doechii beef is loaded.
No, but
I think it's gonna take.
But loves her. Loves Doechii, like, you know what I mean? And
all it takes is for Nicki Minaj to say one word, and he ain't gonna like her no more.
All it takes is for Doechii to be pop, and then all of a sudden. All right, let's get to
Better than Pink Friday too.
We hit all the albums. Shout out to Strick. I don't really care to dive too deep into it. Had some dope features. It's a cool project.
Strick was solid.
Shout out Coffee Black for his album once again. No faking. That shit is tough. My real hip hop fans, my hip hop nerds, go check that shit out.
First name Coffee, last name Blackman. He is one of my best friends at the end of the day, and
Shout out.
I am extremely happy for him. He did his listening party last week. I was in Chicago at the time, but I'm happy that that he's doing what he's doing, and the guy that he's working with right now is super dope. Very happy for him.
Yeah. Let's breeze through singles. So we had singles from Chance, Tommy Richmond, ASAP Rocky, Game. Dave East had a dope single with a Detroit collab, so I just want to shout that out. Ransom had a dope single with Lloyd Banks. Those, to me, Game's single was also dope. I just think it was interesting that he was rapping like the young LA rappers. He was just very fast. I was just like, this is very not Game.
But it didn't really feel like it still felt like a Game.
It did.
It didn't really feel like he was adapting too much. If the tempo sped up, that doesn't really change that. It's still just like how the Game raps.
That's true. ASAP Rocky also dropped a single
with a video.
Which is weird as fuck.
We just watched that before this pod, and did you watch the video yet?
I listened to the song. I ain't watched the video.
Bro, the video is
the video.
I've seen the video. I seen the snippet of the video. He all in the bathroom taking a piss. This, that, and the third.
It's so fucking weird. The whole video, but look, I expect for Rocky to be hella off kilter.
But you know what though? I'll say music wise, there's consistency in the sonics that he's using between this and hijack. Yes,
and
it makes sense. I see where he's going.
And it all still it sounds.
I don't know if I'm gonna love it, but I know I'm gonna at least like it.
And it all sounds Rocky, which is that the one thing you gotta give to him is that he is unapologetically himself, and he sounds like you can hear a beat and say this sounds like something Rocky would be on. Like he really is good at sticking to what he excels at, and that's what I love about him. Like I have high hopes for his drop. I hope that it's my album of the year because of how big of a fan I am of him. I don't know if it will be, but one thing I could say is that I know I like it because I know what he brings to the table.
Yeah, he's delivered on the single, so you know you're gonna like the album.
Absolutely.
You know you're gonna like at least like the album, if not love it.
Yeah, I love ASAP Rocky. Sometimes he's getting these pockets though to where he be forcing wordplay and get to saying anything that don't even be meaning much or nothing.
He kind of has,
and it's you could tell he was just trying to go off the rhyme pattern or whatever he was going off of,
and he keeps going too long.
Yeah,
and that's exactly that's the same thing that we've talked about with Big Sean, of how it's sometimes the run-on sentence just doesn't end, and it's just bring it to a close, bro. It ain't that serious.
Wrap this shit up.
Yeah, it. Let's wrap that shit up. Exactly.
Yeah. But no, I love ASAP Rocky, so I can't wait for the album to drop.
He was one of my favorite rappers of all time, bro. I can't wait.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Okay, Tommy Richmond. Before I get to my chance take, because I got a chance take. Tommy Richmond.
Fire.
I was wondering how he's gonna switch it up, but still keep his foundation, because you drop $1 Million Baby, you drop Devil Is a Lie. Those two songs sound different, but yet at the same time they occupy the same space.
Yeah.
So you can't have an album that fluctuates between that range. It's gonna be too boring. You're gonna only end up liking a few records because they're all gonna be the same.
If anything, the problem that he's created for himself is now he has to always kind of deliver with this cadence that he's kind of picked up.
But this was a good switch up. He had to switch up,
but he kept it there.
He did. But he kept it there.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a cadence though that we're looking for from him. It's more the unique sound he be bringing.
Yes.
In.
Well, that's what I mean. Is cadence meaning the vocal inflections that he uses, the high pitched singing, the whatever. It's all it's
The
all
stacked vocals.
Yeah, the stacked vocals, the high pitch, and it's all very consistent. But what I'm saying, like what he may not even see at the moment, or he probably does, is that you can box yourself into that to where
Yes.
if you don't deliver in that, it can go two ways. You could either not deliver in that perspective and you're fucked, or you could change it up and people are like, oh, I love to hear that this guy changed it up.
I think
or
he
whatever.
did. I think he changed it up. I think he knocked it out the park. I think he's 3 for 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think all these singles are fire, and I think this album is gonna be fucking phenomenal.
Same. I can't wait.
I remember.
End of September, September 27th, I believe.
I remember with you, it was 1 week. You did one episode.
Yeah, dude. I
and
think
then
this is
you
one
came
of his
through
first episodes.
You came through the next week, and we weren't recording. We were chilling and whatever. And me and Platte just got back from the draft, and you came through, and that was when I played $1 Million Baby. I showed you that for the first time, even that day.
Was it for the
Yes,
first time?
for the first time. You hadn't heard
the
it yet.
draft?
Yeah,
Like
it was
the
the
NFL
the
draft?
day of the draft. That Saturday we went down. We were with your brother. We were with all them, and then me and you. I rode my bike over here. I remember it specifically, and I showed you because it was brand fucking new. It might have even been still like a not officially released
Yeah,
song
I think
or
that's
whatever.
what it was. Is that I don't think it got officially released till like a couple weeks after that.
No,
Because
but
it was floating for a minute.
but I remember playing it for you and for
Yeah.
you and saying, this shit is fucking hot. I'm not saying like I
Yeah,
don't give a fuck who
I
found
remember
him or
when
whatever,
I
but-
remember when it came out too, and I was playing it, I scooped you, and we was riding around, and I was like, yeah, bro, and this shit, yeah.
I got high
Nah,
hopes
he's
for
got
him.
it. He's got it. He's Tommy Rich.
And he announced his album.
Yes. Coyote.
Coyote.
September 27th. So, 3 for 3 with the singles. Maybe he drops one more. I'm excited to see what he does for the album.
I'd assume one more, and I don't think all of them make the album. We'll see.
No, I think all of them will. I think it'll just be a longer album. I think it'll be like a 16 to like 20 song album.
Somebody that green, I'm not mad at them throwing all of these one-offs on the album.
Yeah.
You know, I don't love that for like a, you know.
You got at least do $1 Million Baby for sales.
Oh yeah.
Well,
It's
yeah,
gotta-
no, that was
At,
gonna
at
be
the
on
bare
album
at the
for
bare
sure.
minimum, a
Yeah.
bonus track or something. It's got to be on there, of course.
Yeah.
But
I think you should do a remix and put somebody on there.
that.
Who the hell would fit?
Well, he
'Cause
makes
that's
music,
such
he
a
making-
unique
he making
song.
music with
That's
Brent Faiyaz, so I can picture him being on there.
Brent Faiyaz would be
That would probably be the best bet.
Brent Faiyaz will be good.
Throw Lil Wayne on that bitch.
Wayne
Also,
can
like,
fit on anything. Yeah, that's true.
I
It's a
think
little
Wayne can go on
fast for like a Bryson Tiller, but I can
Yeah.
see that maybe too. It's got to
Although
be.
Bryson
I don't.
been
I
fucking
don't
rapping
think.
on fast beats recently for some weird reason.
I don't think it's taking. I don't think it's bringing a rapper on. It's got to be like a
It'd be
more
another singer.
modern day R&B guy. You know, like.
Or an absolute legend that can still fit.
But like the Weeknd wouldn't fit well.
I don't
Yeah,
think
no.
so.
I think they just have to leave him alone and let him be him. I'll be honest with you.
After that TV show, everyone's just like, "All right, buddy."
Well, no, not even the Weeknd. I'm just saying, like in general. Like I think this Tommy sound. I think you just got to let him do his thing.
Well, I'm interested to see who he does end up collabing with
Yeah.
because the album comes out. There's no way he's not collabing
Yeah,
with people.
he's got to have features.
But I'm interested to see who he
Maybe
does.
he's got Ty Dolla $ign's freaky ass. Shit.
He was on the Sean album too, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Bro.
No,
you
not-
fuck- I listened.
Also, there was no Janae on that album. And I hate that that's a conversation,
but you completely fucked my whole perception of Ty Dolla $ign up, dog. Of you just being like, bro, you listen to him. Everything he says is the horniest shit you ever heard, and now I can't unhear it, bro. Every
You know what's
single
funny is
thing
that
I hear from Ty
that-
Dolla $ign,
that hasn't-
I'm just like, all I can think about is how horny he is, and I'm like, I can't listen to
that
this.
hasn't cooked with me yet, but I know it will.
Dude, it has fucked my perception of him up all the way. But you're right. Like, you're not wrong in that. It's 100% true.
Yeah, nah, I don't know. That's why I kind of like
Let it rock.
shied away from Ty
Yeah.
Dolla $ign because he was fire when he first came out, but like, bro, it's like everything you say freaky dog.
Like
I
Kevin
love
Gates-
him as a
like Kevin
feature.
Gates
I-
interviews.
Bruh,
I love
can't,
him.
Can't even watch one of those.
I love
That
him
shit
as
irritating.
I love him as a feature. I don't need a whole album. From
Yeah,
him.
no, he one of the best feature artists I think there is.
All right.
I
Top
drafted
10 for
it.
sure.
Let me close with with this single, and then we'll get to. Should we save? I think we should save that topic. Actually, we're gonna save that topic, because I want the Balkan Boys' opinion on it. So Chance dropped a single.
Is this the same single I sent in the group chat with the video?
Which one? The 333. 333.
I know he had a video to it. I sent
Well,
it in the group
he
chat.
had the one with Joey Perp. That was the video of them on the boat together.
So-
I'm gonna go look though.
3,333 also
So
had a video.
I'll be honest with
but-
you. I should save this take for the album, but I'm not going to regret this take. Is that it?
Oh no, this is an older one.
So it's not from this. Okay.
No,
Okay.
that's an older song.
Oh yeah.
That's
It
the
is.
one we were talking about earlier. Of the neighborhood that he lives in,
Yeah.
outside of Chicago.
That
Yeah,
which is the star one, which I forget what that title is called.
got a few tricks up there.
Yeah, I know how it
Yeah.
sounds, but I just don't remember.
That shit fire
the-
though.
That song
bro.
fire as hell.
That is.
As a Chance fan, because you were an Asarat fan, right? Yeah.
So-
Bro.
That was definitely there.
Here's where I'm at after listening to this Chance single and all of the singles that precede. This is the greatest divorce in hip hop history.
He needed it.
Absolutely.
Ooh. He
This-
like Chance.
This divorce single-handedly has revolutionized hip hop. I can't wait. I can't fucking wait for this album. I am so happy this man is divorced.
So you about to sit there and listen to all the nay ski ski ski.
No, if he
ain't
pull,
doing
if he
it. He ain't doing it no more.
if he pulls out that nah, I'm fucking jumping off. In
He'll
this-
he'll do it in an intro quickly, I'm sure, at some point, but it's not going to be precedent because it wasn't even on Coloring Book.
Yeah, no, he smartly dropped that shit a long time ago, but like it should have done his wife, because honestly, the music that he's making now is incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm not
That's why-
I'm not saying it's her fault. I'm just saying that as soon as he makes a album that's not dedicated to marriage, he is delivering fire.
I think he's somebody.
Name
Mo-
a greater
most-
divorce in hip hop.
Most people don't have, especially at the
Even
point-
Kanye and Kim. Kanye, he didn't do it like that.
at where he solidified at, and like how much people love him. There's not a lot of people who have dropped an album that people collectively fucking hate as much as him, and I think that he gets the message loud and fucking clear. Like, I think he knows that.
I wish it would have happened sooner, but I'm glad it's here.
Well, I wish that album never came out in the first place.
Dude, I remember listening to it with you
Yeah, we listened to it with somebody else, and
at the time.
yeah, and
Little ting.
dude, it's so crazy. I mean, it probably was just like my Chance, like, you know, fan.
No,
being a
I thought it was good, too.
Like off the rip, I was like, oh no, yeah, and then both of us went back to it and we're like,
The next day.
nah, I don't know about this.
Well,
dude.
she was also trying to talk, and that shit got annoying because I was like, bitch, I don't want to hear your opinion.
Unfortunately,
Respectfully.
yeah. But like
But not really.
Chance has always been that for us, because I remember when we both we listened to our first Chance song together at the first time, which was Juice, and both of us fucking hated it. And then
The difference was you
I-
gave it another chance.
I gave it another chance, and I went back to it, and I was like, nah, actually, this shit fire. It took you a little longer to grab on and whatever, but Chance, in my opinion, is one of the greatest lyricists of this generation, bro. He's insane.
Yes.
I have not seen anybody who can rhyme as well as him in so long, bro. He is incredible at what he does.
Facts.
It's just about crafting it and delivering it the right way.
Yes.
That's all that it boils down to. The talent is 1,000% there.
And now that he's divorced, we're going to see it.
That's a fact.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Before we get out of here, I just want to shout out. You know, I like to close with these little shout outs here of all the dope things that happened in hip hop in the last like week or so. Jay-Z new certifications, making him the 6th highest rapper ever in certifications through the RIAA. Again, Tommy Richmond new album coming next month. We talked about that. Throw Out the Rock. Happy anniversary. This is a long one because this is actually a clusterfuck of anniversaries that we should have done a bunch of more content on. But it's all right. We'll get it right next year. The Miseducation Lauryn Hill, Donda, CLB, Triple X17, Love Is Rage, 2 that is, by the way. The Forever Story, Jeffrey, Late Registration, Kanye. I know you're deep down in
That's
there
all
like
this
Anakin
week?
Skywalker. Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Kamikaze, Birds in the Trap, Rodeo, Forever, The Cypher, which we're gonna talk about
That's
next
why we have
episode.
a captain, y'all.
Listen, man, that's a fucking stacked ass week.
You
of
can't talk about all those.
music.
It's too much to talk about it. Like I'm saying, like independently, that's too many albums to cover.
That's fucking insane.
Especially because they're huge. All of those are huge albums.
Literally. And then all songs of the beef of the battle reached 100 million streams plus. So shout out to the battle. It was dope.
Which somebody did make a good point. Is like who's genuinely still listening to Meet the Grams?
Yeah, because that was the last one to get there.
Yeah, but how could like as much as I thought that song was and still think that song was great in Wise of the Beef, how could people be casually listening to that?
Dude, I pulled up. I texted the group chat. It was at 8 a.m. I was late for work. It was 8 a.m. I was supposed to be there at 8 a.m. I'm at the light that's 2 seconds from my work. And I'm not listening to music. And I hear somebody full blast Meet the Grams.
Yeah, that's crazy.
At 8 a.m.
That's
You are a
insane.
fucking serial killer if you listen to that record at 8 a.m. Anyways, Kendrick, shout out to him too for reaching his biggest streaming year so far, 6 billion streams already. That's his biggest year by far. He also had a diamond record certified in Goosebumps. He has Humble that he hasn't officially announced as diamond, but it is diamond as well. And then Not Like Us, so he could potentially have 3 diamond records
That's
in the same year.
The certification conversation is always
It's
a
so
problem.
stupid.
It's always a problem
because it's on the
not-
artist to do it. It's the fucking stupidest
not only
thing.
does the artist have to do it, but they have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like there's a lot of people who
I heard it's only like $200 though. To be fair,
that could be true. I don't know how much it costs. I always equate it to like to get like your star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame or whatever.
Yeah.
Is like it costs like $20,000, like or something like that.
Oh, that's
like
light change.
probably even more with
Let's see what
inflation
they
now.
got, but-
That's always kind of how I think of it with like the certifications and stuff. Is like,
Yeah.
I mean, if it's only $200 for them,
It's off
that
the
ain't shit.
it's off the principle. Like, why should I be paying for y'all to acknowledge my greatness? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
'Cause I-
money somehow.
Because I saw a tweet
Especially
today.
keeping track of all your record sales.
I saw a tweet recently that was
It
like,
ain't free.
It's free promo. It's free promo when you do it.
It's
What
money.
you mean?
Because who the fuck knows who the RIAA is if they're not tweeting, hey, congratulations,
And-
Drake, you reached 1 billion streams on this song.
And they're
hey,
all
congratulations. That's free promo.
They're making money at the end of the day, so.
Yeah.
But
Fuck
They need to
off.
make, they
no,
gotta
'cause
make money all types of ways. You already know that.
It-
You know how these big companies operate.
it
You gotta
was-
make $1 off everything.
it was a similar thing, and like, of all the artists under 21 years old, I think 21 years old. I don't remember the exact age, but Lil Tecca has the most certifications.
Yeah, he does.
I saw that this week,
Shout out
and
to him.
it's like, for one, I really only, me personally, call me an old head. I don't know. It's, I only really know one song by him, but
Ransom.
yeah, but like,
Yeah.
like
I'm surprised Bow Wow.
that's what makes it that's what makes
I'm
it.
surprised Bow Wow ain't got the most. I feel like he got a lot.
Who?
Would have had Bow Wow. I feel like he would have had a lot of hit records back
No,
in the day.
no, under 21 right now.
Oh, right now. Okay.
Not like how many certifications they had
Yeah.
under 21.
Okay.
People who are under 21, which I don't know
Which
how
is
Lil Tech is still under 21.
That's crazy because
I thought he was around in like 2018. He had to.
He was, and
Maybe he was like 16.
I'm not gonna
He
give.
could have been. Yeah.
I'm not
maybe-
gonna give
maybe
myself.
that's it.
I'm not gonna give myself in trouble, but yeah, like Lil Tech has been around for a while.
Yeah. No. We'll look after the pod, but yeah, I found it interesting because I know what goes into the certification shit and that you have to pay for, which is there's nothing wrong with that. Look, trust me, if I was a
Yes,
very
if-
well selling artist and they were like, yeah, we can make this platinum if you give us $200,
Yeah, but you do it.
I'd be like,
but
yeah,
be,
I'll
but be
fucking do
smart.
it.
Do it when your album rolls out, so that your name is still in constantly in the.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's all it is. Shout out to J. Cole for reaching 1 billion streams. His song "Workout." Congratulations. And the last but not least, happy birthday, Westside Boogie, one of the coolest artists in the game. It's actually his birthday today as we're recording.
Happy
So shout
birthday, Westside Boogie.
So shout out to Westside Boogie. But that will do it for this episode of the Rap Cave Podcast. We appreciate y'all. I'm with a few of my guys. I am with Birdie. I'm with Chris Apples on camera, live and
camera,
direct.
baby.
Y'all are blessed. Y'all don't know what you got. Y'all don't know how good you got. Go ahead and smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. I know most of the people that actually view this podcast don't actually subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel for this motherfucker right here, Chris Apples, for pulling up, doing his thing. Shout out to
First time on camera.
Shout out to
baby.
him,
Come on.
man.
Big ups to him.
Shout out to him, man. Listen, everybody, be safe. Have a good weekend. Turn the fuck up. You got more bonus content coming from us soon. I can't wait for y'all to get it.
We love
Peace
you
out.
guys.